The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
It's the Monday after NFL draft weekend, and the Jets made 8 picks, and the fan base is pumped. We will grade each pick and compare the Jets to the rest of the NFL. Frankie V, the leader of the Bailey Bros, will join us. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
We sitting in here, we excited as hell.
Now it's time to get to work. Are you a happy guy?
Oh my goodness, let's go!
I haven't felt joy talking about the Jets in a long time. When they announced it, I went, yeah! Let's go! A new chapter for the Jets has started. Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji are tasked with shaping the future of this franchise. Will they be the ones to finally get it right? We will be here for every step of the journey on the Jake Asman Show, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now.
Here we go, Jet fans. Welcome in, everybody. Happy Monday. It is indeed the Jake Asman Show, presented by PrizePicks. Make sure you like the video, and if you're not subscribed to our channel, you do so. Big thank you to everyone who tuned in to our draft coverage in Pittsburgh and throughout the weekend right here on YouTube. The draft party was awesome. We posted a full recap video of some of the best moments from the party as a members-only video, and I tweeted it out on the @JakeAsman account for those of you who want to see it. Also, we posted it on the Instagram account, so make sure you follow along there. Ton to get into involving the Jets. Quick programming note, our afternoon show today will start at 3:45 this afternoon. That's Eastern time. Antoine Staley from the New York Daily News is my guest. Earlier start time because tonight I'm hosting on ESPN New York from 7 to 9, so we'll talk about the Jets and the Giants in the draft. We'll preview a big-time Knicks Game 5. We'll talk about whether or not the Mets have fired Carlos Mendoza, and they should also fire David Stearns if they do that. So a little New York sports talk for you coming up tonight from 7 to 9. Listen on 880 a.m. or download the ESPN New York app, and you can listen live. With that, we say hello to Frankie V, the founder of U Stadium, and let's be honest, the leader of the Bailey Bros. Frankie, when David Bailey was announced as the pick for the New York Jets, I won't lie, you were one of the first things that I thought about, that the Bailey brothers, they band together and they got their wish. This was Frankie V in real time wearing his Bailey Bro shirt, reacting live to David Bailey becoming a New York Jet. So let's start there. I know you're going to give that pick an A++. How you feeling, man?
Victory! No, man. I'm glad they made the pick, man, and I think they made the right pick. And I'll be honest, I wasn't looking at my phone. I wasn't looking at any leaks. Jake, up until the pick was announced, I was thinking about them just announcing Arvell Reese. Like, I was just ready, prepared for the name Arvell Reese to come out. So I was a bit shocked. I made sure we were doing a stream with Ryan at the Post. I made sure not to, look at my phone. Yeah, man, it wasn't an easy pick, I assume, for Muji and Glenn. It seemed like, I would say, up until the end there, most people, I would say, thought it was going to be Reese. I mean, the odds makers had it at what? It was almost at minus 300. I feel like within like 30 minutes of the start time, round one. And I think the Jets made the right pick. I do. I'm very happy with the pick, and I think it's set up for a really good first round for sure. So, yeah, man, this is a start to something good. I think we'll all really like David Bailey. Hopefully, now the Jets can get a lead. Would be nice, right? Would be nice to go into the third quarter up, a score or two, so you can have David Bailey and Will McDonald, pin their ears back and get after the quarterback. That would be nice. But they made the right pick, Jake. They made the right pick.
Well, I mean, the bottom line is now that he's here, every Jet fan is going to be rooting for him, and it just adds a new wrinkle to the Jet Giant rivalry that Arvell Reese ends up falling to number 5, and he goes there. From a Bailey standpoint, obviously, even if you were a Reese fan, it'd be tough to not give the Jets an A or an A plus for this pick just based on value. I believe Bailey's going 3 to Arizona if the Jets don't take him at 2 for some context here. So when you look at just the expectations now for David Bailey, year one, what type of player are the Jets getting? How many sacks? What level of production are you expecting?
Jake, you're getting a guy that has one of the best first steps you'll see out of an edge player. And that goes for anybody in college football that we've looked at over the last 10 or so years. So I think he instantly comes in and he's going to give you that first step that will give any edge an advantage off the edge. 2, I think he's relentless. So you combine first step with being relentless. He loves to get at the quarterback. That is what he does. He does not stop. 3, you're not going up against, not every week you're going up against, Trent Williams is, or Lane Johnson's. That's not really how the NFL's set up. Look at our division. There's some weak tackles there. We saw how much Will Campbell struggled. You look at the Bills, Deion Dawkins isn't really scaring anybody. So, I mean, the Dolphins, are you scared of their tackles? They had to trade up even just to get one. So I really love David Bailey for us specifically because I don't really think we have many premier tackles in our division. So you combine his first step, his relentlessness, and Carl Dunbar is going to teach him a bunch of things, man. The strength is there with David Bailey. I think sometimes people got a little bit ahead of themselves with this whole DPR label and the fact that he struggles stopping the run. Yeah, he's not great at stopping the run. That's not what he does, but it's definitely teachable, and it's definitely something that you'll get to maybe an average level in terms of his value stopping the run. And I think even more, David Bailey just really likes to always go around blockers. He doesn't really like to take things on head on all the time, but if he has to, he will. There's a reason why Texas Tech had the number 1 rush defense last year in college football. I brought this up before. They were giving up 66 yards rushing a game, which was by far at the top in terms of best rushing defense in college last year. And trust me, it wasn't because Romello Height was helping out all that much. They only gave up 2.2 yards a carry. Obviously, Jacob Rodriguez and Lee Hunter had a lot to do with that, so I'm not blinded towards that fact. But I don't think David Bailey's that deficient against the run that it should worry us or people should think that he's going to be a DPR. I'm telling you that's not going to happen. If there's anything I'll bet on with him, it's he will not be a DPR. Expect 8 to 10 sacks, maybe more. Don't not be surprised if he doesn't get 12, 13 sacks next year. I'm just saying, and he's up there for defensive rookie of the year. Don't be surprised. Remember, Aaron Glenn did a lot with Aiden Hutchinson, or at least saw the development of Aiden Hutchinson. There's some similarities there. And Micah Parsons brought that up. Did you see the clip that I had posted on Twitter from Bleacher Report? Micah Parsons goes, it's tough to get an off-ball linebacker second overall. You look at a guy that's in that kind of mold of an actual edge, I would go with David Bailey also. And listen, Arvell Reese is playing inside linebacker. John Harbaugh came out and said that. Like I've been kind of saying, I find him to be an inside linebacker. Now, that's not to say he won't play edge eventually or play a little bit of both, but we got an awesome edge prospect. He was the number 1 player on my big board. If he was in last year's draft, he'd be right up there in the top 3 or 5. He'd be up there in the top 3 or 5 in next year's draft too. That's how much I like the kid. I'm a big fan. And his personality, I love. He doesn't take himself too seriously. Arvell Reese, some of these guys, they take themselves too seriously. They're not really they're not social, really.
You think Arvell Reese takes himself too seriously?
He's a little bit. He's young. He's a little bit like, I don't know.
20 years old. Yeah.
When I hear him talk, I'm not. I feel like, I don't know. I feel like he's got a lot of conversations to be had in life. Sometimes people are.
David Bailey's 23. What does he know about life?
Bailey's pretty funny, though. Have you seen some of Bailey's interviews? Bailey's got a good personality. He's always smiling. He cracks on himself a little bit. He's cool with people. He makes people smile and laugh. He's got a warm person. Like, I just like his personality. That's not to say, listen, personality and being a great edge are mutually exclusive things. But
Oh, we know, man. Look at you. Look how happy you are. David Bailey.
I love the character. I love the kid. I think he's gonna do well in New York. I do. I think someone, for example, Sauce Gardner, I thought took himself a little bit, sometimes a little too seriously. Like sometimes in New York, things are going to not go great all the time. Be able to take a step back and be kind of chill about things. I feel like Reese here, I don't know, but that's something that only I would really bring up, right? Like that's a very me kind of point, but I don't know.
I'm actually less excited about Bailey after this combo.
That's fine.
We're going to go through each pick. Obviously, if we're giving grades here, I'll give an A for Bailey. Frankie's going to go A plus.
Wait, you're going to give an A? I thought you wanted Reese. Why are you
I did, but I wasn't someone who was anti-Bailey. It was more so true. I liked Reese's upside, and I wasn't going to criticize the Jets for the pick. The criticism, if I have any, is I don't love the logic if this was about Glenn's job. Because I don't think we should be drafting for Glenn's job. Yeah. We should be drafting for who the best football player is after 3 years. That's how I look at it. So, but I digress. We've done enough on the Bailey-Reese discussion. And now that he's a Jet, we will certainly root for David Bailey to do well. I do want to let everyone know that during my second show today with Antoine Staley, we will have the weekly Asmaniac raffle. We have 5 prizes this week in honor of draft weekend. We went big with each of these. Joe Namath helmet, Nick Mangold helmet, Darrelle Revis helmet, Garrett Wilson helmet, Mason Taylor helmet, each item signed by the player I mentioned. If you want to enter, today's the day, the last chance to enter the Asmaniac weekly raffle. And for anyone who enters today, you'll qualify for a daily raffle that is separate from the weekly for a signed Wayne Chrebet jersey that's up for grabs at the end of our second stream. So you have a chance to win a signed Chrebet jersey, better odds on that, and then give yourself a chance to win one of our 5 signed items this afternoon. Shout out to everyone who supports the show. You guys are the best. We wouldn't be able to do this many raffles without your daily support. All right. So David Bailey, he goes number 2. 16, Kenyan Sadiq. Your grade for the Sadiq pick, Frankie V.
So at that time, I had, and I was saying it on the stream, Vega, Lemon, and Sadiq. I wanted one of those 3. So Vega got drafted 14th to the Ravens. So we're left with either Lemon or Sadiq. I would have taken Mekhi Lemon there. But we know what happened later on. But talking about that pick at that time, I give it a B plus Sadiq. So I have an A plus for Bailey. Obviously, I can't not have it. I have a B plus for the Sadiq pick. I would have taken Lemon there at that time. So I like the Sadiq pick. He's extremely explosive, 13 plays last year of over 20 yards. Kid is really in the direction of where the tight end position's going. A little bit of Brock Bowers, a little bit of Harold Fannin, a little bit of Trey McBride, kind of sprinkle them all in. You get a Kenyan Sadiq. That 4.39 is no joke when you're 240 pounds. So, and you're talking on a broken play, Jake. You have a guy like Kenyan Sadiq streaking across the field on a secondary route. That's a problem. I think he needs to learn a lot as to how to play tight end in a traditional fashion, like getting off the line of scrimmage and feeling soft zones and knowing where to settle. He really is a wide receiver playing tight end. And I'm also fine with him as a tight end playing wide receiver a little bit. So I really like the pick, B plus. I'm not going to give it more. I wanted Lemon. So, I still want Lemon. I still would have liked Lemon here. I think Lemon would have been exactly the slot we needed, but I'm totally fine with Sadiq. Sadiq is a big slot in a lot of ways, too. I also like the pick in a lot of ways because I think it'll challenge that tight end room. Mason Taylor, Jeremy Rucker, you guys better get in that weight room this summer, especially when you see that guy, at workout. So I think it'll make the room a lot better, too.
But isn't Sadiq going to be a power slot? He's not going to line up in line as much.
He'll line up a little bit in line. He could play that because he's a little bit of he'll do like some stuff like Jonnu Smith did. He can block, man, too. He's not going to play that much in line, but he'll play. They'll line up in traditional 12 personnel. He'll probably play a little bit off the line of scrimmage, too. You could do a lot with Sadiq, man. You could have him in some halfback kind of roles, too. Kind of George Kittle-ish in how you can use him. Jonnu Smith. I don't think he's going to play exclusively outside, Jake. You're gonna want him inside because he's got that body structure that could keep defenses off balance. In college,
he lined up more in the slot than he did in line.
He did. Yeah, similar to like a Colston Loveland. He's still
I like the player. I just didn't love it in real time because I wanted Lemon. I wanted the receiver there. I wanted Cooper. But the thing is, that's why you wait to give out grades and full analysis on a draft class. The fact of the matter is, once they made the trade back in to get Omar Cooper Jr., to me, it kind of solidified the night. And no Jet fan can be upset with this team taking 2 swings at the pass catcher position. Look at Sadiq in terms of a weapon. Him, Garrett Wilson, Mason Taylor, A.D. Mitchell, Omar Cooper Jr., Brees, like they added weaponry. So I'll give the Sadiq pick a solid B+. They got really good value. I just I don't know. I really wanted Mekhi Lemon. We'll see how that ultimately ages.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I think listen, man, there's something about Kenyan Sadiq that separates him from every tight end prospect ever. You know what that is? He's the most athletic tight end to ever come into the draft. You consider his 40 time, his vertical, his broad jump, his speed, what he's been clocked at, his size, his strength. Number one, literally, there's nobody else. He's 99 percentile in everything, really, for a tight end. So, you took a little bit of a shot. I think this is a high risk, high reward kind of pick. I like the risk, though. I like the fact that they're thinking a little bit differently. Like you bring in a differentiator like Sadiq to a room that could be a really solid room. You're not a really solid room with just Mason Taylor and Ruckert. You're like at like an average to maybe below average level, depending on Taylor. Now you have the upside to have an above average room to maybe even an elite room in a few years. The Jets need to get this kid the ball, though, this upcoming year. Like Geno Smith better make it a point to get him 60, 70 targets this year, develop him out. So when we're ready to get really rocking and rolling in 27 and 28, this kid's not going to really skip a beat. Also, he brought up that Dante Moore a few times. If you read between the lines with Sadiq, it didn't seem like him and Dante Moore were always on the same page. So, that's something else to kind of consider. But I really like the pick. I think it was an interesting pick, but I like it.
This was a Frank Reich selection because the Jets, they tweeted out Frank Reich's reaction to the pick. So clearly he heavily influenced this. You heard Reich on the phone with Sadiq going nuts. So this was a Frank Reich pick. We have to hope that he's got a real plan for how to use Sadiq and Mason Taylor. Glenn noted that they have a real plan because of Frank for this player. So I don't know how long Frank Reich's going to be here. There's a chance he's one and done if Glenn's one and done at the end of this season. But for at least, this upcoming year, so much of the Jets' offensive plan is in the hands of Frank Reich, who was out of football last year, professional football, the NFL. He was the interim coach at Stanford. So that's my only question with the pick. But there's no doubt, as far as like the consensus value, Sadiq was a guy that was certainly in the conversation for the top 10. And if he went to the Ravens or the Chiefs, we all would be praising the pick. So I want to, make sure we remind ourselves that from a Jet perspective. Let me shout out Ozzy Fullers. He's the first to enter our Asmaniac raffle today. Last show to get in, or last day, I should say, to get in our weekly raffle series. And for anyone who enters today, you have a chance to win a Wayne Corbett signed jersey. Is a separate raffle. Let's go. Let's go. By the way, I mentioned, Frank Reich being all happy. That's where this drop came from. From what?
Are you a happy guy?
Oh my goodness, let's go.
That was after they took Kenyan Sadiq. Are you a happy guy? Oh yeah.
Sadiq
we know
only a junior too, Jake. That's another point to make. I mean, he technically, if you wanted to play another year, he's 21 years old. So I mean, there's a lot of development there with that kid. I'm just saying something else with him that doesn't get brought up enough. Bo C in our raffle for 2. Thank you, Bo. Part of our issue is the fact that we don't have elite offensive tackles in our division. By the time we face a legitimate tackle, we have a false sense of confidence that blows up in our face. Play. I mean, look, they need to be better all across the board defensively to kind of even get a real evaluation on just how good the Jets pass rush actually is. Because last year, I mean, the secondary was so bad, the linebacker play was so bad that even if like Will McDonald would win a rep, and you see this on tape, it wouldn't matter because the ball would be getting out so quickly because guys were running wide open. So, it's a combination of the secondary and the pass rush both being a lot better that allows you to get sacks and put pressure on the quarterback, all that.
Totally, man. Totally. Yeah, and that's the thing too. We don't really have, you know, we're never in games where we have the ability to, you know, get our edges to pin their ears back and just go after the quarterback. Teams are just playing these sort of conservative style of offensive, you know, plans against us. Why would you come in and have to, you know, develop these elongated routes, you know, have receivers going on these post corners for 30, 40 yards? Why would you even need to push the ball down the field? Run a very conservative game plan, limit any exposure to turnovers or getting sacked. You'll beat the Jets. You know, that needs to change. That affects guys like Will McDonald. Trust me, if Will McDonald played on the Chiefs or the Chargers, he'd have 15 sacks in a season. He would, or 13 to 15, something like that. He would.
Now for my favorite pick of the whole draft, as we're grading every pick the Jets made. This to me is an A. Omar Cooper Jr. trading back in, only having to give away a 5th rounder to move up from 33 to 30, get the 5th-year option on the guy, snipe him away from Buffalo. I mean, if they took Cooper at 16, there would have been many saying that was a good pick. I went back and watched so much Omar Cooper Jr. over the weekend. Now that he's a Jet, this guy is awesome, man. His ability to make guys miss, the toughness he plays with, the contested catch rate. You can never bring this guy down. The yak ability. People talk about how he played the slot this past year. He played on the outside 2 years ago and was very effective. I love this player. I think he's going to end up being our favorite player from the draft class when it's all said and done. What are your thoughts?
Man, that was such a brilliant move by Muji, man. You know, and that totally justifies a Sadiq pick, you know, because you're thinking, why would you get Sadiq if Lemon's there, was sort of my idea. And I did like Sadiq. I had him and Lemon right there, but I had Lemon above. But I'd rather have Sadiq and Cooper Jr. than I would Lemon and whomever else. If you were to trade up to 30 or stay at 44 or 33, I would definitely rather have the combination of Sadiq and Cooper Jr. So that totally justified this Sadiq pick. So if you're giving Sadiq a B+ now, you can almost go back and say with Cooper Jr., which I give an A to as a pick, you could make that Sadiq pick then an A because of what you did at 30. So I really love the move, man. Listen, this round 1 was as good as you're going to get for us. It's as good as you're going to get because you're talking about a pass rusher, a premium position. You're talking about a tight end that's got all the athletic upside you can imagine, and a real wide receiver 2 that will be able to be a wide receiver 1 when needed. Omar Cooper Jr. has no weaknesses in his game. You could go to Tate with the 4.5-ish 40. Kind of doesn't look all that twitchy sometimes. Tyson's got the injury concerns, and Lemon's got the height issue that he's just short. Cooper Jr. doesn't have a weakness in his game. There's nothing you could point to and say, oh, I would worry about that at the next level. And a lot of times those guys become some of the most successful ones if you look around the league. CeeDee Lamb, guys like that, Justin Jefferson, no real weakness in their game. You know, I think we might have got a real good one right there. Really,
he's a player, man. I'm telling you,
a player. He's the best way to put it. Yep.
He's going to help this team a lot. He's also really good on kickoffs. So I wonder if he becomes a possible option there. I just think the guy's a winner, man. I love the idea of taking guys from Indiana as well. Goes without saying. So night 1, I think overall a big time success for the Jets, coming away with 3 players. First time ever they've taken 2 pass catchers in the first round of any draft. Anytime the Jets have had 2 first-round picks, they've never done that. They've done like the quarterback, and then they've done, you know, a different offensive player, but they've never done 2 pass catchers like what they did night 1 in this draft. And that brings us to the next selection as we're going through every pick the Jets made and giving out a grade. D'Angelo Ponds. I love this pick because they traded down and acquired an extra 4th. Now we'll get to potentially just burning that pick and trading up for Klubnik. But as far as like the value here, getting an extra pick, still coming away with a high-end player, Ponds is awesome, man. I'm shocked he lasted till 50. I get it. He's undersized. You watch him play, though, that's never a problem. He guarded some of the best receivers in college football who are way bigger than him, and it didn't matter. Like, people talk about Aaron Glenn and compare him to Glenn. You see that. DJ Reed, I think, is a good comp for the type of player D'Angelo Ponds is. He's faster than DJ Reed, too, for what it's worth. I just think D'Angelo Ponds, great value, gritty, gamer, going to make plays. I know the Jets said that they're going to cross-train him to play on the outside, but I think he's going to be this team's starting nickel for the entire season, and I don't think it's any doubt in my mind. I have no doubt in my mind he's going to be an impactful player. He's going to start immediately for this team. I'm pumped to watch him.
Yeah, one of the highest floors out of any player in this draft, especially on defense. There is no way if D'Angelo Pons is healthy, he won't give you value on a football field. No way in hell. The guy's got everything right up here to be a great football player. He's the kind of culture guy that this team needs. That guy's a dog. You're not stopping that guy. That guy wants to win. He plays his heart out every play. Yeah, he's a few inches too short. And, all right, yeah. How many quarterbacks are really going to give their receiver a perfect jump ball and the receiver's going to high point it and get it on him? Maybe some. By the way, he has a 43.5-inch vert, though, so just be careful if you're going to test him too much. Love the pick, man. I love the pick. It's exactly where he should have went. We need players like this, Jake. If you see a common theme, and Muji spoke about it, they did their own little new scale that they put together. Bailey, Texas Tech, one of the best teams in college football last year. Sadiq, Oregon, one of the best teams in college football last year. Cooper Jr., Indiana, went undefeated. Best team in college football last year. Pons, Indiana, all extremely productive for their position at extremely, successful programs. That's how you do it. There's definitely part of that. You look at NFL.com production scores combine, one of my favorite stats to look at. If you're just going to go by one stat to judge a prospect, I love the NFL Combine's production score. Bailey's a 98, Sadiq's an 80, Cooper Jr. I think's like a 78, and then Pons is an 83. I mean, there's a clear theme here. Productive guys at programs at one. That's what the Jets need. That's how you build. Yeah, someone I just saw a comment, a better DJ Reed. Perfect way to put it. And I think he's going to play outside too. I disagree with people that are like he's going to play strictly slot. No, he'll play some outside if he needs to. And this guy can line up against tight ends too. Don't get that twisted a little bit, because what did Kenyan Sadiq say about Pons? He was the best corner he faced all year. So he's going to be bumping some of those tight ends across the middle too. I just think he's going to be our cornerback too here for a while, and potentially 1B.
It's just funny that we all watched Dante Moore against Mendoza that night, and the first pass that Moore throws is a pick six to none other than D'Angelo Pons. Pons was named the MVP of the Rose Bowl and the Peach Bowl during Indiana's run to the national championship. He was the defensive MVP in both those games. And I mentioned the vertical jump, 43.5-inch vertical jump, tied for the second best of any player at the combine, trailed only Vanderbilt's Eli Stowers, the tight end converted receiver potentially, who had a 45.5-inch vertical jump. But again, the fact that he's 5'9", that's the knock on him. But his athleticism is so great that it makes up for it. So if you're going to play at 5'9", you got to be able to be fast, and he is. You got to be able to jump, and he can, to make up for the lack of height. So this guy's a baller, man. He's going to help this team a lot. And I love the fact that between him and Cooper, they got to experience the Indiana turnaround. Now, Cooper was actually there before Cignetti got there. Pons was part of the JMU crew that left JMU, the JMU 13 that followed Cignetti from James Madison to Indiana. I just like the fact you got guys who are absolute dogs out there, and I think this is going to help this team immensely.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And I was wrong, by the way. Omar Cooper Jr.'s production score was an 81. He was third in the class at a receiver. So just throwing that there out there. It wasn't a 77. Jake, this team needed a draft like the first 2 days of this this past weekend. I mean, like, these are the kind of guys, and me and Kaz go back and forth on this on gangs. Pons, by the way, number one in production score out of all out of all corners, by the way. But Kaz and I go back and forth on this. How do you build culture? I think you build culture with the players you bring in. You bring in the right players that have the right mentalities, like a D'Angelo Pons, Omar Cooper Jr., Kenyan Sadiq, David Bailey. You bring in those kind of guys, then you start winning games. I don't believe that culture's built after you just start winning based on talent and coaching necessarily. I think it's the former. I think it's the chicken before the egg, in my opinion. It's just you got to get the right guys in here. You'll see D'Angelo Pons will be a fan favorite in no time.
And look, if he goes out there and has this team's first interception since week 18 of 2024, he'll be a Jet lore immediately, no matter what he does the rest of his career. Just unbelievable. Frankie V from U Stadium is with us, the leader of the Bailey Bros, taking his victory lap on our show here on a Monday morning. Hit the like button if you're just tuning in. We are presented by PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app and use the code HMA. And if you put in $5, you get $50 available in lineups immediately. And we'll put together a Yankees-Rangers prize pick lineup later tonight. We'll mix and match maybe some of the NHL or NBA playoff games that are going on tonight. Met fans, you're spared. Your team can't lose to another awful team, although the Mets are just as bad as the Rockies. At this point, the Mets have the night off, so we'll do a baseball-themed prize pick lineup during our afternoon stream. But again, download the app, make your own picks. Use that code HMA. Take advantage. $5 gets you $50 instantly in lineups. All right, fourth round. Here we go. Day 3 of the draft. This one at 103. Florida State defensive tackle Daryl Jackson Jr. Your grade for this selection, Frankie?
All right, so what I have Pons, I had what I give him. Pons, I'm going to give a B+ to. This pick, I'm going to give a B, solid B. Like all the traits, has everything you're looking for in a defensive tackle, the size, some of the twitch. When he gets moving, this kid can really ball. The production doesn't match, so he's the one player I think was a little bit of an outlier in terms of the theme of this draft. Production, at your position. Solid pick, nothing to cry home about though. I would have probably have gone in a different direction, to be completely honest. But he didn't start playing football till his junior year of high school, so he kind of was kind of like a late bloomer. Yeah, I mean, you see the size there and the strength. I mean, he's kind of just learning. If he could get his pad level right, and he could get his motor constantly running high, and get his conditioning right, I think he could be of value. He reminds me a lot of T'Vondre Sweat, right? Like both of them. And I think both of them are going to be, competing, and they both have conditioning concerns. Get them both in the same locker room, and let's see kind of who outplays who there. Yeah, I was looking at the draft, right? So like there, I mean, out of value picks there, I might have looked at, I liked 2 guys that went after Jake that I would have taken, which is why I give this a B. I like Brennan Thompson out of Mississippi State. He was one of my sleepers, just a speedster receiver. And I really liked Jonah Coleman, who went a few picks later to Denver. Jonah Coleman really doesn't fit here, I guess, because we have Isaiah Davis, Brees, and Braylon Allen. It's a little bit of a crowded room, but I like Daryl Jackson. He's another guy, high ceiling, low floor. So I guess you combine that with Pons, who's got a high floor, as the next pick. Makes sense.
Look, if you're going to switch to the scheme the Jets are playing, you're just going to need bodies. And T'Vondre Sweat is not able to play 80% of the snaps. So you need guys along those lines. You need to have that pipeline going here. So I didn't mind this pick. I preferred them to potentially go with an offensive guard. So I'll give this pick a solid B. Again, it's day 3. You're looking for traits. I think there's some traits there. So you're excited about. Here's where I think it gets, you want to be critical. Here's where I think you could be fairly critical. It's not that I'm anti them taking Kade Klubnik at pick 110. It's the fact that they traded up for Kade Klubnik using a 4th. I felt like you should have just taken Kade Klubnik at 103 if you liked him that much, and then had a chance to take an interior offensive lineman or take a linebacker or take a safety potentially with your other 2 4th-round picks. And I know people will say, well, they ended up going lineman and then safety at the end. And sure, but as far as just like the process, I'm not anti-Klubnik. If that's their guy, fine. It's day 3. That's who they want. Have a plan for him. but I feel like you could have gotten Kade Klubnik without having to trade a fourth. I don't think they had to worry about any team taking him. I really don't. I could be wrong. We'll never know for sure, but that's the criticism here. I don't think Kade Klubnik was projected to go in the fourth round at all, and trading a fourth that you acquired in a great trade down in the Ponds deal the night before, I didn't love this. So I'll give this a C or a C plus if I'm giving a grade for Klubnik overall.
Yeah, man, this sort of came out of left field. I thought they would look at a quarterback on day 3. I didn't know it'd be Kade Klubnik. Now, if you listen to what Muji said, and it makes a little bit of sense, they had Kade Klubnik ranked very high after 2024. So, and he obviously didn't come out of the draft. So, but before, when they were doing their work throughout the season, they had Klubnik. I think he was, I don't know if he said in their top 3 or something, but he said something like that. Now, Kade Klubnik in 2024 had almost 3,700 yards, 36 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. So he had a big year. Apparently, Frank Reich was all about Kade Klubnik at that time. The buzz completely, went away this past year. And Muji brought up the fact that he was dealing with injuries. So he had, an ankle sprain, etc. So, listen, I don't like the pick necessarily. I will say you're getting into day 3. There's still value in round 4 for sure, but you need a quarterback. Apparently, he's very cerebral and intelligent. He can help the room out. Not in love with the pick though. I agree with you. I don't think the trade was that crazy necessarily, but I think, you had guys there that will fill a few more holes. I mean, like guys like Elijah Surratt, who I really liked, went, a few picks later. You had Dennis Sutton from Penn State. I mean, you could have maybe looked at another edge player there.
Spencer Hecht.
Yeah. Jalen Farmer, a guard. So, I mean, Skylar Bell went a little later. Mike Washington Jr., maybe not positions in need necessarily, but especially after you get Cooper, early on. But, I might have done something. I would have done something a little bit differently. I wouldn't have looked at quarterback. Muji and Reich obviously looked at this kid and said, there's a developmental, process with him that could equate to something interesting for us. And at the minimum, a backup, I would assume. Yeah, I don't like the pick. I'd give it a C minus.
Look, at the end of the day, it's a day 3 quarterback. So anyone who's like that upset that we got to calm down, they crushed the first 2 nights. That's what's most important. And overall, their process on day 3 was infinitely better than in Muji and Glenn's first year, where they lit picks on fire. Like they literally lit picks on fire. Like at least Klubnik's a quarterback, so you could throw out value in some respects in terms of, hey, if this is your guy, great. I want Kade Klubnik to be the number 2 quarterback. I would not sign Tyrod back, or I would not bring in Cooper Rush. I think it should be Geno, Klubnik, and Bailey Zappi, and let's call it a day. Because if Klubnik gets a chance to play, if Geno goes down or Geno's ineffective, so be it. Let's see what we have. We're taking a quarterback in 27 anyway, in all likelihood. I want to give Klubnik a chance to play. He started 40-something games in college. He checks off every antiquated Bill Parcells metric that he would have for a quarterback, even though he himself never actually drafted a successful quarterback using that model, if you go back and look. But he played a lot of games. He's smart. He's not as big as I thought. He's only 6'2", 215.
I thought he was a little taller. I thought he was looking at 6'3", almost 6'4" range. Yeah, I thought, yeah.
But 2 years ago, he had a great year through 36 touchdowns. Field Yates had him as his number 3 overall prospect going into the season. Clemson was a mess. So it is what it is. I want him to be the number 2 quarterback, though. I would not bring in a veteran.
Totally. Yeah, I'm with you there. If you want really quick, I wanted to share this for a quick second. Look at the 4th round in 2023, right? Let's just throw this up for a sec. I think this is some good, some interesting context. I mean, listen, it's the 4th round, it's the 5th round, it's the 6th round. You're gonna have to really take swings and hope. I mean, I always say, like, you want a player or 2. I don't know if you see, Jake, my screen there I'm trying to share.
Yes.
Right, yeah. I mean, look, this is the 4th round in 2023. I mean, anything interesting here? I mean, like this is what the draft is. We always constantly judge these fourth and fifth.
Carter Warren.
There you go. Carter Warren. But I'm saying this is the stuff like all right, and then you have this is a great pick by the Steelers here. Nick Herbig, that's an excellent pick. But you got one or two per round. If you want to go to the fifth round, I mean, this is 2000. I mean, come on. There you go. Israel.
Izzy.
But I'm saying,
hey, shout out to Gonzo Badger's daughter who came to my draft party at McFadden's in Pittsburgh wearing an Izzy Abaconda Jets jersey because Gonzo Badger, one of my OG listeners, his daughter goes to the University of Pittsburgh. So she was rocking the Izzy jersey.
That's what's up. No, I like that. That's cool. Yeah. You have Dontavian Wicks is a good pick. Chase Brown's a good pick here. But, you're talking, you have 2 or 3 picks, in these rounds that we never hit on one of them, God forbid. But this is the fourth round. The fourth round last year was actually pretty good. You had Cam Scattaboo and DK. But
Woody Marks.
Yeah. If you look at the fifth round, I mean, who knows? But if you go to, let's say, 2020, what are we going to go? 24. I mean, look at the fifth round in 24. I mean, you got guys. I mean, we got Jarvis Brownlee, actually one of the better players. But I remember people talking about Audric Estime being some bruising running back. Where's he at? We got to be honest about these late round picks. You're gonna hit on maybe one or two, sometimes over a couple year period, that have all pro, potential or starting potential. It's just the way the league is. Go back any year you want. I mean, I don't think enough people talk about this. Going back, go to the fifth round in 2022.
Go to the fourth round.
Fourth round.
Cade Otton's a player.
Yep.
Damian Pierce. Max Mitchell. There he is.
Kobe Bryant's.
Dane Belton, now a Jet. Michael Clemens.
Michael Clemens is actually pretty good considering. Yeah, but this is the fourth round. This is what Zamir White. I mean,
Cade York, he's a Jet.
Yeah.
We got a Jets. Jake Ferguson. You could find players though. Romeo Dobbs.
Good.
Look, every draft is different. I just you don't want to burn picks. Every year is different. This happened to be a great fourth round.
Yeah,
you want to have a good process.
Yeah. And then you go to the fifth round. You start getting a little bit less. So fifth round here. I mean, who do you got? Look at these: Montrell Washington, Kyle Phillips. You don't even know these guys exist anymore. Who's this?
Kyron Williams is good.
Kyron Williams is great, but who's this? But I'm saying you hit in the fifth or sixth round. Forget it. You might not even, Christian Benford's good, but you're getting a 2 to 3 picks, 4 picks. We saw a few rounds maybe with 5, but I think we have to calm down sometimes judging every single pick. There's clusters of players, none of these guys are doing anything, it's just Andrew Ogletree. Does anyone even know who that is? So I'm just saying, we got to be sometimes a little bit honest about some of these late round picks. I think we get a little bit too crazy sometimes. I think the first 2 rounds and round 3 mean a lot more than, you're blowing a 4th or 5th rounder. Our problem is we never get a 4th or 5th rounder right, really. The last time we did, you want to say Sherwood and Michael Carter. Carter's not here. Sherwood's the last 5th rounder we've had. But, we got to make sure that these first 4 or 5 picks really develop out. I'm not as crazy about the later round picks. Those are 4 per round. Jake, you're talking 4 out of 32, 5 out of 32. We're just never in that boat, unfortunately. Right? Am I right or wrong with this little breakdown? I mean, are you kind of understanding where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it's totally fair. I think it's more. I don't even think I don't even think Jet fans should be upset at the Klubnik pick. We don't know about any of these quarterbacks. You just did the exercise there. Look how many quarterbacks that did nothing go in the 4th, 5th round. Most day 3 quarterbacks stink. I just think it's the process. It's do we need to burn a 4th? It's why it felt like the coaches got very much involved on day 3, specifically Reich. But again, if that's Reich's guy, so be it. We'll see. Kade Klubnik. I mean, there is an upside there. I'm not going to go crazy over it. It's a lower grade for me, but again, I'm giving the Jets a very high overall grade, but every pick can't be great. And I'll tell you what, they got great value with their final 2 picks. So the Anez Cooper pick here, guard out of Miami, a guy that is tough, didn't allow a sack this past year. I think he is someone that is physical. He's got some traits I think people will come to really like. What did you make of this pick? What grade would you give Anez Cooper from Miami?
B plus. Winning program. Has all the traits. Another guy with every trait you're looking for. Big boy. So you're looking at like, over, sometimes tipping the scale at over 340. Powerful guy, heavy hands. When he gets moving, he's going to move you. So just, you better get out the way kind of thing. He does get a little too upright. He is a little heavy footed, needs to stay in shape. They're going to have to get a good nutritionist over there, Jake, at 1JD. They're going to have to get a nice nutritionist because you got him over there. You got Spears. You got Daryl Jackson showing up. You got to keep those boys lean up there. Tippmann.
Tippmann fat?
No, they just got to stay in shape, man. You want Tippmann to move. He wants to play guard. You're not playing center anymore. We need you moving, man. We need you at the second level. We need you hitting some safeties. You call it Tippmann fat. He did weigh 400 pounds at Anez Cooper in high school. So, you got to keep him in shape. You keep the kid in good shape. You coach him up. He's got all the talent, and he's got natural technique as a guard that he could be a fine player. He is now a right guard specifically. He's only played right guard. I wouldn't even attempt to move him at left guard. But I like the depth there, man. I always like the guard depth. I probably would have looked at guard maybe a little early. So I don't know how it would have. I don't know how you want to slice the pie. I was talking with Stefan from Jets X Factor about it. Like with Jackson Jr. and Klubnik, if you could have gotten another guard, a little bit of a more highly touted guard or center, interior offensive lineman, I probably would have looked in that direction earlier on. But at least you address the position at this point. So I like the pick. I think getting a guard late, especially a kid with that much upside, to me it's a B plus.
Yeah, I think there's good value here. Again, this guy has played a ton of football, which you like. He only allowed one pressure and 518 pass blocking plays in 2025. Fourth lowest pressure rate in the FBS. Did not allow a sack in 518 pass blocking plays. The second most pass blocks in the ACC without allowing a sack last season. A lot of good things here. Played a lot of football. Big dude. Good value. Dane Brugler had him as his 14th rated guard, and he had a 5th or 6th round grade on him. They got him in the 6th, so good value there. So I like that. And I'll tell you what, just on the name alone, I'm giving this pick an A+. VJ Payne, Kansas State defensive back, round 7, pick 228. A safety with the last name Payne, I'm in. But on a serious note, they actually did get really good value with this final selection here of round 7. VJ Payne was a guy who some thought was going to go in the 4th round. And here he is in the 7th round because teams just don't value safety. But the Jets certainly need to value that position because they're a secondary room a year ago, as we know, was an abomination. The guy ran a 4.4 40-yard dash, reached 23.2 miles per hour. He's got
3.
Yeah, he's measured at 6'3 and a 4th, second tallest safety in the class, longest arm length of any DB in the class, 33 and 3/4 inch arms. Again, at 206 pounds with 4.4 speed. This is a guy who could be a really effective player. Dane Brugler wrote today that was his favorite day 3 pick that the Jets made. He said, I expected him to come off the board earlier on day 3, which made him a no-brainer in the final round. Guy could play in man and zone, according to Dane. So I think they got really good value here with the last pick of the Jets class.
Yeah, I love this pick, man. I do. And I think him playing special teams, don't you see that natural fit? Put him on special teams, let him earn his way, then give him some looks. Kind of like what we're doing, I guess, with Quantez Stiggers a little bit. Like, I feel like you're going to have a similar, repertoire with Payne as you will with Stiggers. And competition, like between Stiggers and Payne, who's going to be, the guy that's going to get more looks, who's going to get more, PT playing time. So I like this pick a ton. I think Will Parkinson posted a highlight tape with Payne. He brings the pain when he hits. He definitely does.
He'll be a fan favorite.
Yeah. He's got to be more reactive, and he's got to see things and go, not think. He can think a little too much in space. He's got to be a little more reactive. Now, is that instinctual or is that just him not understanding what he's doing yet? This is something that I think is this like an Aaron Glenn kind of coaching thing here. Like, you got this kid super raw, super athletic, doesn't really get football all that much, it seems like, because he's overthinking things a lot. You got to coach him up. You got to make him just fly around the field and let him feel confident in what he's doing. So this is a good pick, man. This is a good pick. I mean, this is what you want in the 7th round. We needed a safety. He's not really going to fill a hole necessarily, but he'll be a depth player and let him prove himself via special teams.
Look at the athletic score for Payne, the relative athletic score, RAS, 9.74. And I saw this from RAS. They put it out there. He ranked 37 out of 1,391 strong safeties that have been scored from 1987 to now. So this guy is a historically great athlete. And now, can they coach him up to have a real role on this team at some point?
Yeah, man. The athleticism across the board on this class is off the charts, man. I mean, every single position, really, you can say, is just screaming with athleticism. Honestly, Bailey's super athletic as an edge, 4'5" guy, broad jump out the gym. I mean, like he's a freak. Then you go with Sadiq, speaks for itself.
Sadiq the freak.
Yeah, Sadiq the freak. There you go. Omar Cooper Jr. No, he ran a 4.42. Super twitchy at times and just great after the catch. Pons, for his size, is extremely athletic. So I know his RAS is low, but that's because RAS considers height. Jackson. He's another one that's just extremely athletic. Cooper. They got a lot of ballers, man. Listen, man, I'll say this, and I can't even believe I'm saying this. If the Jets can get coached up next year, they're going to win more games than people think. They got a lot of talent on that team, man. If Geno Smith could play point guard and get the ball out to those receivers, listen, I'm going to be honest. It's going to be a little bit of defense. They're going to have to think a little bit here when you got, Garrett Wilson, Omar Cooper Jr., Kenyan Sadiq, Mason Taylor, those 2 tackles and our O-line for the most part. And Breece Hall back there. And by the way, Braylon Allen's coming back, a big thumper back there. With this offense is going to be a little bit better, I think, than some of the people in my camp, the tankers over there. I think it could be pretty good, man. I see some there's fireworks on that offense. And the defense, I think the secondary will be a little bit of a liability, but you got Pons there. You brought in Minka. If Bailey and McDonald could give you enough value and you get those guys rushing the passer, you have enough depth with the defensive tackles, and then you have Demario Davis and Jamie and Sherwood kind of holding things down in the middle. Team's looking pretty solid, dude. I'm not even just saying that just to say that. Like I like the roster, man. I really do. I'm surprised how it's shaped out. You think about it, you're like, you got guys at every level, We
have a GM. I think we have a GM. We'll learn if we have a coach.
That's it. That's the most important thing we have to figure out from this season. Do we have a coach or not? And honestly, if Glenn can't get things done this year, there's no reason, Jake, that this team doesn't go on like a 3 to 4 game stretch where they look really good. Whether they win or lose is irrelevant to me. How do you look? If with that talent, you got to have games where you're looking really good. Where Bailey's got 2 sacks, McDonald's got 1.5 sacks. You forced a fumble. Geno Smith is targeting Omar Cooper Jr., who's making things happen. Garrett's has a big day. Sadiq, takes a tight end screen. Breece Hall, gives you value. There's no reason we don't see this stuff happening.
Frankie V, what overall grade are you giving the New York Jets?
Well, because of David Bailey, I'm going to give it an A+. No, I'm kidding. I'm going to give the draft an A minus, man. An A minus. I think if Klubnik wasn't picked and you got a guard that was maybe better than Anez Cooper at their spot, and then you targeted maybe another quarterback later on just to be a backup or whatever position, I would have given it a straight A. But I give it an A minus, man. I think I love the first 4 picks. I really do. I think Muji gets it, man. I think he gets it. And we got guys from all winning programs for the most part. So I think we're starting to see a little bit of shift, hopefully, in culture here. But yeah, I love the draft, man. I think, and when I'm not the only one, I mean, you have people that are, pundits, just draft pundits saying how much they like the Jets draft too, right? Like I've been seeing the Jets, second or third best draft. Some people had them first that aren't Jet fans. So I think overall, hopefully this is a start to something.
Are you a happy guy?
Oh my God, let's go!
Oh yeah, Frankie V is a happy guy this morning. Oh yeah,
it's the most optimistic I think I ever was on your show, right? Would you say that, or like top?
Yeah, I mean, you won, man. You defeated Arvell's army. The Bailey brothers, they got their big W, man. They really did. Hey, huge shout out to Marchie, man. Marchie, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. You were the latest to enter the Asmaniac raffle this afternoon for 5 Jets signed items, and anyone who enters this show, your chance to win a Wayne Corbett jersey and a separate raffle. Hit it. Jets, let's go. Frankie, I woke up this morning. You know what I dreamed of? You know what I pictured? I pictured something that I never thought would be possible. You ready? I pictured this.
I don't think so. Oh, come on. Oh, my God. That's something I've never pictured before.
They wrote me off. I ain't right back, though.
Geno Smith will lead us to the promised land, and Aaron Glenn will hold up that Vince Lombardi trophy, baby.
And the look on Glenn's face in that. He's like, really?
And you know when this all started? It all started back at the Combine when David Bailey was about to run the 40.
So Daniel Jeremiah's top 50 prospects as Aaron Glenn looks on for the Jets.
Rice, superpowers, sleeping. Aaron, wake up!
Fernando Mendoza 1. Jeremiah Love, who we'll also see on Saturday here on NFL Network.
Incredible. It's amazing they took Bailey, and that was the prospect he was dozing off for. I love it.
Yeah. Man, I'm still shocked that they took him. I mean, I was telling myself, we're going to come out of this draft with Arvell Reese and Denzel Boston. Those are the 2 guys. I was like, just chalk them up. That's typical Jets fashion. Not saying Arvell Reese is a bad player, but I was just ready for that to happen. But hey, man, there's what's the phrase? There's clear pastures. I'm always terrible at phrases. What's the phrase everyone says?
I don't know. I never know what you're saying.
How was your draft party, by the way? Yeah.
Hey, I'm glad you asked. It was absolutely electric. I mean, you could feel the energy.
What's your superpower? Asmaniacs, we're built for this shit.
Yeah, it was electric.
Fun, man. That looked dope. There's good vibes. And it's greener pastures. That's right. There's greener pastures. You ever heard that, Jake?
I have. I just couldn't think of what you were saying in that moment.
I always mess up with Ryan with stupid friend. Like I make up my own. He's like, that's not a real thing. Like you got to say, like, I was like, yeah, that's true.
I'm trying to find, is there video of you reacting to the Bailey pick? A couple of people in the chat want to see it. Where is it? I can't find it on the U Stadium account.
Kerry Rhodes. If you go to the New York Post Sports shorts, it should be up.
Oh, I got it. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
I see. I think Jay Quest and a couple other people in the chat were asking for it. So been trying to find it and I was able to get it. So ladies and gentlemen, we will get to watch the leader of the Bailey Bros, Frankie V, react to his boy, David Bailey, be selected by the NYJ. Ladies and gentlemen, this is from the U Stadium Draft Party of Greatness. Sit back and enjoy.
That's my guy. That's why they pay Muji the big bucks. That's the damn pick. Sorry, I'm going. That's the freaking big baby. Right. Finally, the Jets are back. The Jets are back.
Kerry
The
Rhodes,
Jets are back.
talk to me. How are you
was
feeling about
embarrassing,
David Bailey,
slightly.
defensive end for Texas
Let's
Tech?
go.
The production. over
Finally.
projection.
Finally.
Yeah, I think the David Bailey pick is a really good pick. I mean, obviously,
Kerry Rhodes likes it.
We've seen that before. We know what looking the
I don't
part
care
does.
what they
It doesn't bring the
I don't care
value
what they
of
do
the
now. I
field, but Bailey has a motor. He has actual moves on the outside that he's consistent with, and he has counters as well.
I was
So,
telling Braylon.
defensive coach
Braylon's
like
reaction is
Aaron Glenn
loved
getting
it.
a guy like that in this mix is going to be a big deal.
I know Ryan wanted Arvell Reese, so he couldn't wait to not talk to you and just start talking to Kerry about the
Yeah, I
pick.
was a little rude because I stopped him, but I'm like, we got to celebrate a little bit. You know, it's a pick. Kerry's not going anywhere. He's gonna be here all night.
The Bailey Bros. I saw Braylon Edwards called the Sadiq pick, right?
He did before the draft. He's like, guys are gonna pick Sadiq. We're like, how do you know? He's like, they're gonna pick Sadiq.
He's like, I'm Braylon Edwards, man. I caught a touchdown in the AFC Championship game. Damn it.
Oh yeah, dude, Braylon's a freaking house, man. Like that dude's I'm not surprised he had as good of a career as he did. I was telling him, I'm like, Braylon, your best year was with the Browns. You had over 1,200 yards, 16 touches. He's like, no, it wasn't. He's like, my best year was with the Jets. I was like, the stats don't really suggest that, Braylon. He's like, I don't care what the stats say.
Let me ask you this. If David Bailey sucks, are you ever going to show your face in any public platform again?
I don't
Like
think
if he's Vernon Golston, what do you do?
I don't know. That's a great question. I haven't really thought about that.
If he's Tyree Wilson, who just got traded over the weekend, another great Texas Tech edge rusher. He went 7 a couple of years ago. What do we do?
Well, I'd have to hope that Arvell Reese is also bad, because then I could leverage that against this.
Like in the 2021 quarterback class where Zach Wilson sucks, Justin Fields sucks, Trey Lance sucks.
Then you're vindicated, right? It's like, all right, whatever. So yeah, I have to hope that's the case. But yeah, if Arvell Reese is an all-pro edge and David Bailey stinks, I might have to find a new hobby or something. I don't know,
I love it. Great reaction video. Frankie V with us here. We'll do some calls with him coming up. Let me get caught up on the super chats. NYJ says maybe Payne could play corner. He's athletic enough where they could kind of just use him all over the place in the defense.
Yeah, I have the same reaction, right? And I think Stiggers is like that too. I always said, I'm like, Quantez actually should play safety. I don't know why they're playing him at corner. I feel like Payne, the opposite might be the case. He's listed as a safety, but play him as a nickel corner, play him in the box, or he might be able to play a little linebacker too. What's going on now with these 2 deep shell safeties is the middle of the field is becoming very susceptible because safeties are playing so deep. He's someone that's kind of like an in-between. I saw somewhere they listed him as a tweener D-back. So, there was a player in this draft I really like, Kyle Lewis, who's similar to that. Who I
wanted the Jets to take him on day 3.
So did I. Yeah, I think he fits what we need. But Payne's kind of like a project Kyle Lewis in a weird way. So yeah, we'll see.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. This one is from Anglic, who says loading Arch 2027. Look, there's going to be some competition for Arch Manning. We'll see if 1, he lives up to the hype, and 2, if the Jets are as bad as some think. I mean, the thing is they have 3 first-round picks, so we get to hate watch 3 teams. And it's not the Jets, or I'm not rooting for the tank unless they get up to an abysmal start, and it's clear that it's over for Aaron Glenn at that point. But we get to hate watch the following teams this year for draft pick implications: the Dallas Cowboys, the Indianapolis Colts, and the Green Bay Packers. Don't discount the Packers. The Jets get the better of the first-round pick from either Dallas or Green Bay from the deal that they made with Quinn Williams. So keep that in mind. Appreciate you, Anglic. AZ writes in, agree with everything Frankie has today. How about that? Frankie V getting praise.
That's AZ, the GOAT. I'll say this about Arch. Don't be surprised if Arch Manning's not the clear-cut first overall pick next year. I'm just people are making that assumption. It's way too early to make that assumption. Things change every year.
Look at this year.
Yeah, I mean, you can't. Listen, Arch isn't Andrew Luck, all right? So, I mean, you're not making that call or Peyton Manning, or, he's just not. He doesn't have the size, nor does he read defenses at that level. He doesn't. He's an improviser, which I love about him. But, to say that he's automatically going to be the first overall pick is probably not the case. Like if you were to bet today, Jake, is Arch Manning the first overall pick next year? What would and you had to make a bet, yes or no? I would bet no, right?
The odds are in your favor. If it's just Arch or the field, you take the field every time.
100%. Yeah. So, I mean, yeah. I wouldn't do that with Andrew Luck the year before he was going to declare. But
or Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah. Yep. So, yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, a lot could happen.
Oh, no, 100%. A lot can definitely happen. For those of you just tuning in, big thank you to everyone who tuned into our coverage in Pittsburgh. Make sure you like the video and you are subscribed to the channel. Join my Patreon if you want more content, and join before the month ends, and we'll add your name to the intro. Just go to patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. For those of you who want in on our raffles today, we got 6 total signed items I'm going to give away today on the show this afternoon. For anyone who enters during this show is a signed Wayne Corbett jersey. And when you enter for that, you're entered in our week-long tally of entries for the Joe Namath helmet, Nick Mangold helmet, Darrelle Revis helmet, Garrett Wilson helmet, and Mason Taylor helmet. We'll get to your calls now on the Gustbuster Umbrella Hotline, where Doc Jet Fan will start it off today. What's up, Doc?
Good morning, guys. If I can put a request into Gator, I'd like to see a split screen between Frankie and the party that Bailey was having. And Frankie, your exuberance far surpassed anything at the Bailey draft party. I'm telling you. So good for you and good job. I don't want to relitigate any of these draft picks. I mean, we could all pick things apart. I would have liked to see them get some depth at center with Connor Lew or Sam Heck, whatever. What we can put a bow around this draft and say is that they clearly showed logic. I don't like the word intention. I like the word logic. Everything they did, to me, made sense. Like you said, they didn't burn any draft picks. There was no Arian Smith reaches. There was no Malagoa reaches. I thought everything that they did, to use a poker analogy, I have some great friends that are degenerate poker players professionally, and they don't always win. If they play against guys that are equally as good as them, they don't always win, but they use good information, and then they try to stack the odds 54-46, 52-48 in their favor. That's all you can ask for in a draft plan. And I think Muji, like you say, gets it and clearly displayed that throughout this draft, completely. And to try and, to argue about one pick or another, it's meaningless. The process was sound, and I have deep appreciation for that.
I agree with you, Doc. And I think we have a GM. Obviously, we'll see how these guys pan out in the field and what that looks like. But I just think there's enough we've seen from Muji so far that tells me he gets it. He's competent, understands trades, understands value. I love the answer he gave about how they completely revamped their process for how they input data in everything they get from the scouts and the analytics staff, and how they have a system in place where that's all kind of marred together. I think we got the right guy. Time will tell. He's going to have to make a pick at quarterback at some point. That's not Kade Klubnik or, signing Justin Fields or trading nothing for Geno Smith. Like, the big swing is coming, I believe. But we're going to learn about the head coach now. There's no excuse for the head coach to not show dramatic improvement. He's got a roster that is at least capable of scoring points and being way more effective defensively with him taking over the defense. So that, to me, is the biggest thing. Like, there are no excuses for the head coach. The GM has done his job. Now let's see if the head coach could do his.
You went straight into part 2 of what I was going to say, Jake, and that is, I think he's provided them with a good enough roster to at least be competitive. And if we're going to, throw flowers at Muji for being logical, Glenn better show the same thing. And, just to judge him 6 wins, 7 wins, 8 wins to come back, it's too simplistic. There's too many variables involved. You got to stay healthy. It's not always who you play, but when you play them. There's a lot that goes into the wins. But he better not know how far a field goal to win a game is. He better not mismanage the clock. That sort of things he better clean up this year. And so you said it perfectly, Frank. Good job. You really did. I agree with everything you said this morning also. The last thing I want to say is I want to tell you how much I appreciate all the coverage that you have provided over the last few days. And, to give you some background, how difficult it's been in the past to get good Jet coverage. This is going back a while, but in the 80s and 90s, John Madden and Pat Summerall always used to do a football show, like, around July or August, going through each conference and discussing what they expected. And I'd turn it on. The Jets are going to be good this year. They're going to be terrific. And I'd sit and I'd wait. It was a 2-hour show, and it'd be an hour 45 before they got into the AFC East. And I was like, okay, good. Let's hear about the Jets. And John Madden would, God bless him, would get up there and say, well, the Jets are the Jets. Thanks, John. That's all they said. That was it. The Jets are the Jets. And he was generally right. To be able to get the depth of knowledge and information that you guys provide, that Badlands provides, thank you so much. It's terrific. I've always found it interesting, even when they haven't been good. Thanks for all you do, both of you. Thank you.
Doc, you're the best, man. Great call. We certainly appreciate it. I say this all the time.
You have the best content people, I think, in the game.
Yeah.
Overall, whether you agree with us or not, at least we're somewhat entertaining or enlightening, right? For the most part.
There's no fan base that has a more dedicated audience, one. But two, just the amount of people that have followings that talk about the Jets, either on YouTube or in a podcast or just having a big following on X. It's crazy, man. And this team has the longest playoff drought in sports. It's insane. It is
sense,
if the Jets were 9-8 and snuck into the playoffs as the 7th seed this year, I think I'd go from 45,000 subscribers to 100K easily, because you lose all the casual people when the team has been this bad. The only people that are watching shows are the diehards, and look at the numbers on everyone's show, how boosted they get over the course of draft weekend. This fan base is incredible. We don't even have our own stadium. We have the worst ownership in sports, you could argue. There's nothing, and it's just we're just dying for something. And that's why I think this weekend was so exciting, because at least I do see some light at the end of the tunnel here, with the way the roster's coming together and the 3 picks next year and the most cap space. It's coming, man. We just gotta hope it's coming a lot sooner than some of us think, unfortunately. We'll see.
Yeah, and I think the way the Jets drafted too, especially day one, was so different than what we usually do, wasn't it, to a degree? The only other draft I could think of that shocked me was the Garrett Wilson draft. You go Sauce, Garrett, and then Jermaine. I was like, all right, that makes sense. As a matter of fact, that was a really good draft. That was a great draft for round one for the most part. Zach just, was the reason that team couldn't put it together. But and then Brees, obviously, too. So this reminds me of that draft a little bit. It's 4 picks that I really like. And now it's about the quarterback and the coach. I mean, we can shift our gears, I think, from, filling the roster out, which they can easily do at this point. There's enough talent. You could get a center next year. You can get another safety if you need one. You can get a corner. They'll address those needs. You want another guard, I'm in. But now it's all right. Now it's go time. What do we do with this? Now it's Aaron Glenn. Now, as critical as we were of Glenn last year, we should be even more critical of him this year. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. If they lose a game, he blows, you're screaming about. No, let's see what kind of coach he really is. Where is Bailey lined up? How is he playing? How are you playing Minkah Fitzpatrick? What are you doing with Stevens and Pons? I mean, this is a big coaching job for Glenn, man. Let's see what he does on defense. I really am curious, because you can do a lot with these guys. This isn't an easy situation. You have Sherwood and DeMario too. Both can blitz the quarterback also. Both guys can get sacks. Are you blitzing them? How much are you blitzing them? Are you running that 3-4? You running 3-3-5? You doing some 4-3, some 4-4 odd fronts? I don't know. There's a lot you can do. So I'm kind of curious. If he's not able to put it together, Jake, with 3 first-round picks, they got to look in another direction. This isn't a time to kind of, mess around and be conservative in approach. If you can't figure it out, you got to find a coach that can come in here and really use these pieces that we have. And they're all over the place. There's no more, this whole thing that this roster's not talented. And I might be jumping the gun based on a draft, but I'm not buying that crap.
It's not true. It's not true.
It's
And
not
again,
true. Especially now, it's not. I'm not buying that.
Chris Banjo, did he have a great, talented roster last year? Good coaches get the most out of it. That's it. Enough. And they have enough. Geno Smith 2 years ago threw for 4,000 yards. And I'm not even telling you Geno's great, but again, he can complete a forward pass unlike Justin Fields or Brady Cook. Like, there's no excuse, man. You have a ton invested in your O-line. You have a number one receiver. You're running back at over 1,000 yards. You added 2 high-end pass catchers in the first round. A.D. Mitchell was a second-round pick 2 years ago, and there's upside there. Like, enough, man. Mason Taylor was a second-round pick. Score points and win games. Yeah, head coach said play calling is a superpower. Let's go, man. Let's see it.
And here we go. Let's go. Let's go.
Seth Martinez in the Asmaniac raffle for 20 entries. It's raining memberships, Frankie V. Oh, baby. Here we go. Grab your Gusbuster umbrella. Use code Jake25 and get a huge discount at gusbuster.com. Seth Martinez in for 20. If you hear your name, you say thank you to Seth, James Bowen, P. Schiffini, Yummy Tomato Paste, Unlimited Liquid, Low and Coin, Busy Baby, Papio Lou, Percy the Person, Unlimited Liquid, Richard Galletti, Jason B., Bailey Brothers for Life.
Let's go.
Frankie V has had an erection that's lasted way more than 4 hours and should go to the hospital. VSing92, Avid Berman, Backbreaker, Nick from U Stadium. I see you in the chat, dog. Pives, Latino Will, George Blunt, DD King, Stacks, Timing Different, all receiving a gifted membership from Seth Martinez.
Let's go.
Seth, you're the man. Thank you for supporting the show. We wouldn't be able to do it year round without people like you. So thank you very much for the kind gesture. 20 people got memberships, and Seth is in our raffle this afternoon for the Corvette jersey and the 5 weekly prizes for 20 entries. Big fella says, Tanky, you are very entertaining. Now, that is definitely true.
That's the nicest thing, I think, Big fella. No, Big fella's been very nice to me, actually, the last, couple times. So, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you.
Diana Rossini's watching the show. She writes, in Jets view, Klubnik with starting potential if coached right per source.
Hey, you never know.
What if Kade Klubnik's good?
I was thinking that. I mean, it's we've really never all crapped on one quarterback like I feel like we have with Klubnik. I really haven't heard any one. I mean, there's a few people, I guess, but it seems like everyone's kind of anti the pick. Maybe the opposite happens, Jake.
I think we're anti the process more than the pick. Like I'm rooting for Kade. Like, he seems like a good dude. He was excited to be a Jet.
Yeah, you know what? I don't know how hurt he was last year, because coming out in 2024, if he came out of that draft, he would have been a top 5 pick.
Muji said that he was hurt. Like, he referenced that. He went out of his way to say that.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't like how early it was, but I think Muji got a little ahead of himself, right? Like, you got all these picks that you liked, and then you see a kid there, and you're like, you know what? I don't want to take a chance. I had this grade on him. Frank Reich really likes him. Let's jump the gun. A few quarterbacks went early too. Like, Aller went 73, I think, right to Pittsburgh, which was early.
I think that was the Jets guy, because Muji said the night before they tried to get back into the 3rd round. I think it was for Aller. Because, again, they traded up for Kade. I think they didn't want to lose their next quarterback at that point. No one's told me this. I'm just connecting dots. I think the Jets quarterback rankings were obviously Mendoza 1, Simpson 2. I think they had the Miami quarterback Beck, who went to Arizona, the first pick of the 3rd round, 3, Aller 4, Klubnik 5.
That sounds right where I'm at with that too. Yeah, that makes sense. So I think when I think they definitely wanted a quarterback, right? You had even Taylor Green. How about
Nussmeier falling, by the way?
Yeah, that was interesting. Yeah, because a lot of people assumed we were going to get Nussmeier, right? Wasn't that the thought there at that pick? People had thought when we had traded up that was going to be the pick. Yeah, Nussmeier, he knows how to play the position, but there's not many traits there that you're going to project out to. Klubnik, he has all the different kind of traits you're looking at. He reminds me of a lot. I mean, it's a stupid analogy, but you know, remember Tony Romo a bit? Like Klubnik, when he was prime Klubnik, he plays a little bit like Romo. Likes to move around a bit, likes to play a little bit of backyard ball, kind of risky, kind of quarterback. I'm not saying he's going to be Tony Romo. I'm just saying he kind of plays like that a little bit. He's not so structured in his game, but he is smart. So I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, super chats cut the line here. We'll get back to your calls shortly. Billy McCain says Muji has this team set up for success. His drafting and trading has by far been this best the team has had in a long time. He needs to stay here. I like Darren Muji. Let's just remember, many felt this way about Joe Douglas as well. We have to let it play out. We got to see how these picks perform. And he has not taken the swing at quarterback yet. And that will ultimately define him, just like the Zach pick defined Joe Douglas. And then he had bad luck. He tried to fix it with Rodgers. Rodgers got hurt. Part of it's also on Joe Douglas not having a better backup. We don't need to relitigate painful Jet history. But many of us believed in Joe Douglas, and I think it was fair to have a lot of faith in the guy. His trades were outstanding as well. The 2022 draft class was great, and it didn't work out in the end. So I think Muji's done a really good job. I like him. He's done his job far better than the head coach has done his, and we'll see. Just as Muji, I think, has learned from some of his mistakes in his first year, let's see if Glenn could do that as well, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, I like Muji for one reason. He's confident in his approach, and he makes some tough decisions that you can see, you know, having some kickback from the fan base or just from people in general. Rodgers, he was obviously on board with him leaving. Sauce, trading Sauce. I mean, that's a tough move to make after you just signed a guy that a lot of fans liked. Quinnen, trading Quinnen, probably our best player on defense. Drafting Bailey over Reese. That's risky. I mean, like I think the safer pick, if you wanted to just go based on what like would bode well with the fan base, I thought Reese was the safer pick, honestly, in terms of like, you know, public opinion and what people would have thought. He went with the, you know, tougher decision, I think, with Bailey. And then Sadiq, you just drafted a tight end last year. Some people are like, why are you drafting a tight end? You have Mason Taylor. He makes tough decisions in what's, I think, the best interest of the team. That's a common theme for the guy. Not everything's going to work all the time, but I like that he's confident in his approach. He doesn't like fall into like what's the right thing to do necessarily. Like, take a shot, man. Take a shot. I think he's a little risky, and I like that about him. These aren't easy moves, Jake. You think trading Sauce was easy? As much as I didn't like Sauce right towards the end of his tenure here, I thought it just got stale with him here. It's not easy to make that move. Like, it's not easy to like sign off on that. You know, Quinnen was a little easier because he wanted a new deal potentially, but I mean, Sauce was tough, man. Tough move. Muji's got some Gionas, bro. You know, he makes tough decisions, man. It's a good sign of a good GM, honestly.
Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Let's hit these real quick and then get to your calls. TH3 says, did you see the Le'Veon Bell clip talking about Gase? Oh, I saw it. Only 50 people tagged me in this. He said Gase was doing substances and was purposely throwing the ball 40 times in the rain versus the Bengals. Yeah, so Le'Veon has told that story about Gase throwing the ball in the rain against the Bengals. Like, he's told that on other podcasts. And if you go back and look, Sam threw it like 48 times, by the way, in that game. Yeah. And that was the game that Gase skipped Thanksgiving dinner with his family to go prepare for the 0-11 Bengals. And the Jets lost that one. But Le'Veon essentially said, for those who didn't see the clip, that he saw Adam Gase doing cocaine in his office. And I'm not going to say anything, but now that it is out there and he said this, I had heard rumblings that was a thing, that like Gase was known for that in like league circles. So again, I don't want to go down the Adam Gase path again. All you need to know about Adam Gase is Sam Darnold won the Super Bowl this year. Enough said. That was the brilliant move for the Jets to fire Bowles, and let's bring in Adam Gase because he's, quote, coaching football to where it's going, according to Christopher Johnson. Enough said. They ruined Sam Darnold. He had no chance with the GM, who was a dope, and the head coach, who was even worse, and that's the bottom line.
Yeah, spot on there. That's crazy to come out and say a coach was doing cocaine in his office. I mean, that's
also Le'Veon Bell was a terrible Jet too. So anytime he shits on Gase, it's like, dude, you sucked as well. Let's not forget that.
You didn't come in shape, clearly. Like, don't put all your blame on Adam Gase. All right. Like, there's obviously a lot of resentment there from freaking Le'Veon. And then we used to know Le'Veon too at U Stadium. We did an event with Le'Veon when we signed him, the Jets. He actually hosted our draft party.
How much you want for that?
Nothing. We didn't pay him $1.
Wow.
His mother called us. We agreed to an amount. They never wanted the money. They didn't even ask for it. That was
actually, it was for charity, right? That's
yeah. That was cool of them, actually. I don't know. Well, we agreed on a number. It wasn't that high, and then they just didn't ask for it. They said give it to charity, and we did. So it was cool. But yeah. So you believe it or not, right? You would almost think it's the opposite with the way Le'Veon talked.
Yeah, he was all about money.
Yeah. remember in Miami when he was in Miami, he was holding and he had the sign with 100 M's. Like 100 M, like he had all like the shot girls like walking around with 100 M signs.
Arvell's Army writes in, Frankie, the battle has been lost, but the war has just begun.
You know what? Tell your boy if he wants to win any war, he's got to be playing outside linebacker. Okay, we're not worried about inside linebackers going in the top 5. All right, it's I don't. You should have just drafted Sonny Styles then if you wanted an inside backer, right? No, I think
Army, man. I it's fascinating he went to the Giants because usually when you debate a prospect and like if he went to the Titans or he went to the Cardinals or you went somewhere else, we're not paying as much attention. We wouldn't know. Like. We all see the Giant games. We all follow the other team in town. We're going to know directly how Arvell is doing compared to David Bailey.
Well, I'll have a little kickback there a little bit, right? Because I said this on Nick's show last night, Nick Shine show. Shout outs to him, by the way. His show's cool. I was on last night. Remember, we drafted Sauce over Kayvon, and a lot of Jet fans wanted Kayvon. We really never followed. I mean, how many times? And I know it's different with Bailey and Reese because it really was that tight at 2, and they both kind of play the same position.
And the Jets traded back in that year for Jermaine, so they got the edge rusher.
True, yeah. But I don't really do you recall, Jet fans, because that was clearly a better pick for us. Sauce was clearly a better pick than Kayvon was.
Yeah, I mean, the Giants took Kayvon and Evan Neal with their 2 first-round picks that year. Disaster.
Yeah, seriously. I'm curious what they're going to do with Kayvon. He looks like maybe the odd guy out of that whole picture there. By the way, I like what Harbaugh said, by the way. I think exactly what he said with Arvell makes total sense. Play him at inside linebacker. We'll play him in some joker roles too. We'll see how he transitions into, rushing off the edge. If it's something that he shows that he can do consistently, we'll have him at that position more, and we'll bring in more inside linebackers. That's exactly what I would do with Arvell Reese, or what I would have wanted if we drafted him. I would have said the same thing, like play him at inside to start, put him on like an inside linebacker trajectory, and sprinkle in some joker stuff with him. And then you could see if you want to start blitzing, kind of like what Frankie Louvu does for the Commanders. Like that's the kind of path I would take with, or DeMario, kind of like what DeMario does. That's what I would have done with Arvell if he came here.
You got time for another call or two? You got to run.
Yeah, I'll do another call. Yeah, no problem.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline, as we continue, our post-draft reaction is
women need to vacuum and shouldn't be allowed to vote. Yeah, ladies, you can do what. What up, y'all? What up?
You're really wearing Mets gear after they got swept by the Rockies. That's bold of you.
Did Mendoza get fired this morning? Has that happened yet?
What's it like being little brother, by the way? And let me make it clear, I have no issue with Met fans, but Gary talks so much shit after Soto signed. So I never forgot it. And you guys had one of the biggest collapses ever last year. I enjoyed every second of it. And now you are an utter disgrace, but continue.
Okay. I did want to. Did Mendoza get fired yet? Like, what's the over under on his?
I keep checking because I'm doing radio tonight. But I mean, if he's gone, so should Stearns. Let's be honest.
This is Jake. It's a $350 million payroll. It's
I know who put the team together.
This is a disgrace. This is a disaster, bro. All right,
but they have the worst record in baseball with the second highest.
They're the worst team in baseball. Well, last time we said that we went to the NLCS. So this is the worst team in baseball. This is the worst team in baseball.
Philly does have the same record as the Mets. They have the 4th highest payroll, so it kind of might alleviate some of that negativity a little bit. But
we had a little emergency in the New York Jet family community. I don't know if you guys heard this, but former NewYorkJets.com reporter and recipient of Brett Favre pictures, Jen Sturgis, is in the hospital. She had an emergency. Her breast implants exploded, and she's in the hospital. True stories.
Are you serious?
Prayers, I'm dead serious. Yeah. So her breast implants exploded. So thoughts and prayers for a former Jets community member, Jen Sturgis, who's in the hospital.
Damn, that's crazy.
Are you serious? You're serious?
I'm being, that's what was reported by like TMZ or something. Like, so I'm just going off the report. Like, which is interesting because we watched the documentary on her.
Look, why is Gary breaking news like that?
We watched the documentary on her with my wife, and my wife was like, so she got a boob job and wore a bikini top to a Florida State game and thought that would make her famous. I was like, kind of, yeah, right. And now her breast implants exploded. There's a little irony in that. But
you're laughing at her breast implants exploding. You're a bad guy.
I'm not.
It is a real story, though. I wanted to make sure.
Oh wow! How does that even happen? How do your breast implants explode like this? I've never heard that before. Is that like
I don't know.
Happen?
But
what a caption. Last Thursday, I lost my breasts. And then
she wanted to be famous. And she thought she was like Erin Andrews. And it's like, girl, you're not Erin. They don't love you like that. You don't get no farewell tour. You ain't Erin. They don't love you like that. She thought she was going to be famous. She thought she was Erin Andrews. They don't love you like that.
Well, when she fully recovers, I'll have her on the show. She's a Florida State fan. We'll get her breakdown of the Daryl Jackson Jr. selection in the 4th round by the Jets.
That's a good call.
You never thought you'd hear her name again, did you?
No, actually, I watched the documentary on the Favre scandal that I forget what network, maybe it was Netflix or whatever. Yeah. And she was featured in there. She told her story in there.
It was about her. Yeah. I was like, okay. I mean, I'm not trying to take shots at Jen Sturgis. From what I understand is that she didn't even go public with the Brett Favre pictures, that other people knew about it. I'm not trying to trash on Jen Sturgis. But she did think she was going to be famous because she got a boob job and wore a bikini top to a football game. She thought that was going to make her famous.
Well, she kind of was famous from that. She got a job, multiple jobs.
Famous, yeah, I guess for 15 minutes, sure. But anyway, I wanted to talk to you about Kade Klubnik because this is just disrespectful. Like, this is just flat out disrespectful. Like, if you guys think
I didn't hear you bring up Kade Klubnik once in the entire pre-draft process. You don't get to now be the Kade Klubnik truther on the show.
Nate said, "Who do you like in this draft?" Like last year, who do you like? I like.
Yeah, last year we all liked Kade Klubnik, just like we liked Arch and the Norris Sellers and all these guys.
I'm not saying Kade Klubnik is the next Pro Bowl quarterback. I'm saying he's a 4th round pick. I'm telling you right now, his floor is a long-term backup, which is fine. Colt McCoy, Chase Daniel, like that. And his ceiling is a middle of the pack quarterback, a top 15 to 20 quarterback. That's his ceiling. His floor is a long-term 2. How is that a bad pick?
It's not a bad pick if he's a long-term 2. I think people are questioning trading 2 forwards to get him when you didn't probably have to do that.
Okay, fine. If you think you gave up too much to move up, that I understand that as an argument. But let me ask you this, Frankie. If you didn't address quarterback, because once Klubnik is gone, you're not really addressing okay. Taylon Green is not addressing quarterback. That's a joke. If you don't get Klubnik,
it's a little bit of a reach.
And he's equally as Texan. He's from Louisville, Texas. So I lived in Louisville, Texas. So it's not a Texas bias I have for Kade Klubnik. I just think Klubnik is underrated. I think he's a quality quarterback. I don't know what he doesn't do well. Like, what does he do?
The only quarterback I would have preferred than Klubnik, if I had to pick one, would have been Cole Payton, who went after the Philly.
I don't know a whole bunch about Cole Payton.
Honestly, I didn't know a whole bunch about Kade Klubnik in terms of how we played this past year either. I didn't really come into this draft and do a ton of work on Klubnik because I didn't even think he might. I thought he might not even get drafted, to be honest.
Kade Klubnik was going to go undrafted?
Some boards had him in the 7th round.
You watched it. You watched the tape on him, at least a little bit, right?
I watched last year a lot more than this year.
Okay, really good touch on his passes. Really good play. Who runs a play action like that in 20? Like, he's got an old school skill set. He's an old school quarterback with a new age skill set. He's got really good deep pass, really good touch on his passes. He throws fades route. He's really good. Like, he's real. He may not blow you away. He might not have world-class speed or a great arm, but his arm is good enough.
If he wasn't from Texas, would you care about him?
I wouldn't know him as well, and I wouldn't be as invested in him. That's true. I watched him since he was in 11th grade when he beat Quinn Ewers in the Texas State Championship game, the 6A championship game. So I know him well, but like Taylon Green is equally as from Texas. He's actually from closer to me. He's from in a city I used to live in. Like it's not because he's from Texas. Do I know him more? Do I study him more because he's from Texas? I've been a fan of him since he's in 11th grade. Yeah. But that's not why he's good. Garrett Nessmeyer went to high school in Texas. I didn't want Garrett Nessmeyer. I know you like Nessmeyer, which is fine. I mean, but it's a day 3 quarterback who should be a second rounder. Like if whatever happened in Clemson this year happened,
you think
he's a second round?
You really think a second round? I don't listen. Based on this last year, if the injury stuff is real, then and I'm sure it is. There's might be something there with him being a third rounder, but. Second rounder, man. You're competing for a starting job. I don't know if I have for that, but
I have a metric in which I draft quarterbacks. If he's going to be a top 12 quarterback, meaning a really good quarterback, I take him in the first round. That's where I project him to be. A middle of the pack quarterback, 13 to 25, let's say, is like if you build everything right, you can win with this guy, but everything else has got to be right. That's a second round pick. A third round pick is a bottom tier starter, so 25 to 40, let's say, a high end 2 or a very low end 1. That's a third round pick. I think Klubnik is somewhere between 2 and 3. You got him in the 4th round. Like, okay, like you knew we were going to address quarterback. If we don't get Klubnik, we're not addressing quarterback in this year's draft, and everyone, including myself, is going to kill Muji for not addressing quarterback because Taylon Green is not addressing quarterback.
Well, they could have taken Klubnik at 103 or 128.
Would you rather have taken him at 103 or did what they did?
Take him at 103 and then take the 2 best players that are left with their other 2 4th-round picks.
Okay.
Sam Hecht would have been there at 128, who I wanted at 103.
Again, if you don't like the process to get him, I understand that.
That's my only criticism. Gary, any day 3 quarterback is a dart throw. We just went through all the day 3 quarterbacks in the exercise earlier. No one should be anti-Kade Klubnik. A year ago, he was a consensus first-round guy. He had a bad season. Clemson was terrible. We'll see. I don't expect much from him. I don't think he's going to ever be the long-term answer for the Jets, but he's going to play at some point this year because every time the Jets take a quarterback in any capacity, they end up playing. Brady Cook played 5 games for crying out loud.
Jake, what you said earlier, and Gary, what Jake said earlier, I think was true to a degree. I think the Jets really wanted Drew Aller, and when they saw him go 73, then the clock starts ticking as to when Klubnik's going to go, right? So, like, I think Aller went a lot earlier than the Jets thought. Aller went a lot earlier than a lot of people thought. Who saw Aller going in the top 75? I mean, people had him.
I was Drew Aller's biggest fan. I wanted Drew Aller. I knew we weren't going to get him because we didn't have a 3rd-round pick. I knew that wasn't going to happen. But
but I think once that happened, I think then the Jets started, I don't want to say panicking, but like, all right, our day 3 quarterbacks went. We got to get Klubnik. Let's not. If he goes, then we're really screwed.
We're screwed.
So that's exactly they probably jumped the gun a little bit. It is what it is. I mean,
that's my point, though. If you think they jumped the gun and you think they overdrafted him, or maybe you think they could have got him at 128, there's still 17 GMs which would have to pass on. That's a lot of GMs to pass on before he falls back to you. If you don't like the process, if you think they overvalued him, okay, fine. But you still got the best quarterback who was available by a mile. Thank you, Ron Lowe. Thank you, Ron Lowe.
But my question for you is what is Kade Klubnik if he develops? At least Cole Payton's more of a developmental quarterback, I would say, but probably has a higher ceiling. Do you think Klubnik's ceiling, like, where are you at between like he can play, this year as a backup, or he's someone you want to sift for 2-3 years? And then what does his ceiling look like? With him, Klubnik, I'm in between both. I'm not like sold on one path or the other for him, if that makes any sense.
I think he's a super heady guy. He's really good. He's really good in the pocket, right? I think he can play right. I'm not saying he's going to be a Pro Bowl quarterback right away, but I think he could play right away. He's going to be better than Justin Fields. He's going to be better than anything the Jets have had in years, other than Aaron Rodgers. Like right now, if you put him in, he would do adequately. My kind of comp to him is Colt McCoy with a slightly better arm.
We'll take that. That's a good,
a
good 4th-round pick.
I was saying his ceiling, like in a perfect world, he's like kind of like a Tony Romo kind of quarterback, right? Kind of moves around a little bit.
Moves around well,
yeah, a little backyard football kind of player. I mean. And listen, honestly, if I'm the Jets, have him go in and compete. give him reps. Like, I know it's Gino's job, but like make a competition out of it. I mean, it'll make him better for sure. At least maybe he could be your backup. I know
he should be the 2. I don't want them to bring in a veteran. I don't think in the 4th round. Let's see him.
People are
he's
saying
got enough snap on his. He's got enough snap on his balls. He's got plenty of zip on his balls, and he throws really catchable balls downfield. Like the deep ball is really pretty. The face,
yeah, he
like,
does.
He
they are
really
catchable.
pretty
He
balls.
puts enough air under him. Yeah, I'll go. Sometimes I don't see the zip though. Like it just sometimes with some of his passes, like they hang a little bit too much. Like you got to get it there sometimes. You know,
like I remember. I'm gonna make this quick because you can hang up on me, right? I was talking to when Usyk was fighting AJ for his heavyweight title. I was talking to one of the best trainers in boxing, and we were the only ones that picked Usyk at that time. And I was like, "Is he too small?" He's like, "Gary, he's 6'3", 220. That's not too small. Is it small for a heavyweight champion? Yes, in today's era, it is. But that guy's been heavyweight champion since the 40s. Heavyweight champions have been 6'3", 220. Usyk 6'3", 220. Lewis changed the dynamic of heavyweight. You have guys 6'6", 260, but 6'3", 220 isn't too small. I say all that to say, does he have the best arm? No, but it's not too small. Like his arm is fine. His arm is not going to be an issue. He's not going to fail as a quarterback like Bryce Petty or Johnny Manziel because his arm isn't good enough. His arm isn't his strength, but it's not a fatal flaw either. If Klubnik doesn't work out, it's not because of his arm strength.
That's fair. Who's Usyk? No, I'm kidding.
Gary, are you nervous to go up against Charles Gorman on Wednesday afternoon?
I don't get nervous. Wow. What's the point of getting nervous?
Jake, do you ever get nervous?
Oh, I don't think if you get some nerves every once in a while, you're living.
No, I agree. I've said this when I was up until the very end of my end of my career. I used to get shook, nervous every fight. At the end, I knew I'd be fine. But yeah, I just like to say, what's the point in getting nervous because it sounds badass. I actually no, I get nervous.
Gary, did you ever wear a Jason Kidd Nets jersey with cornrows?
I have. I have. Have you never seen my cornrows? You've seen my cornrows before, right?
I don't know if I have. Maybe
really?
Early. You maybe in the summer. I remember going on a show. You had them.
Maybe? I have them for like 3-4 months, and then I'll cut my hair and then grow it back. I'll get them again probably in a month or so. It's in that phase. A little longer. I'll cornrow them up. But yeah, I've had cornrows many times.
Well, Gary, a great call. Thanks for letting us be aware of Jen Sturger's exploding breasts.
Yeah, so thoughts and prayers for the Sturger and Sturger's family because yeah, I mean that's tragic to hear. So shout out to Jen Sturger. Even though they don't love you like Aaron, you ain't Aaron Andrews. They don't love you like that. She thought she's gonna get a farewell tour. They don't love you like Aaron.
As Maniac Madness is underway, make sure you make multiple accounts and vote 50 times for Gary 3D Boxing.
Mr. Frankie V, almost 2 hours today. Appreciate the extra time, man. Great job.
Appreciate it, man. I want to give the Bailey Bros a message. We are going to congregate this summer somewhere. Maybe, you know what, Jake, aren't you doing something maybe over the summer? You've been flirting around.
July 11th, invite all the Bailey Bros.
All right. We're going to have a little Bailey Bros section. I'm going to maybe get some jerseys or bobbleheads or something and give them out to people. How about that?
Yeah! Yes! That's my guy. That's why they pay Moody the big bucks. That's the damn pig.
Ryan wants nothing to do with me. He's like, dude, can we have a professional
Ryan is
show
disgusted.
Here?
He's so angry. He's just trying to hold it in because he knows he's on air.
Finally, the Jets are back. The Jets are back.
Kerry Rhodes.
The Jets are back.
He couldn't wait to get the conversation to Kerry.
Talk to me. How are you feeling about David Bailey?
So good. I love it. I love it.
Ryan's an executive producer, and I'm just a co-host. That's it. There you go.
Bailey better be amazing. That's all I'm going to say. Frankie, thank you very much.
Later, guys.
Frankie V from View Stadium with us. All right, we're going to get to more of your calls shortly. 2-hour show. I'm coming back at 3:45 today, and I'm doing 2 hours of radio tonight, so I can't go forever, but if you're on hold, I promise I will get you in. We got a lot to do coming up later today. Antoine Staley from the New York Daily News will join me. We'll get his thoughts. But first, some super chats. Doc says, raw athletic score should be viewed within context. 6'8", 225 or 255-pound tight end with 40-inch vertical, 4.55, 40 time, 27 bench presses equals Zach Kuntz. Yes. Well, I think you use it as a tool to match up with what your eyes tell you on film, or if a guy had great production. like Bailey had great production. His RAS numbers are insane. Kyle says, let me be clear. I'm sorry Jen's implants exploded. Very sorry. Hashtag Kyle, the humanitarian. Thank you, Kyle. PBM writes in, best examples, Kirk Cousins. Gary is not wrong. I don't hate the Klubnik pick. I just think that we needed to trade a fourth to get him, but I'll live. Again, I'm giving the Jets an A or an A- overall. Like, I thought they had a really good draft, so I'm not being negative here. Ralphie in the raffle for 4. Let's go. Hit it.
Right.
Jets at $47 million in cap space now per spot tracked. Odds we pick up 1 to 2 more vets like we got Phillips last year, or we're just rolling this to 27. They will add someone. Could be another veteran receiver. Muji will make a trade. They'll use a day 3 pick next year and get someone 100%. This is not the final roster. They'll do something. Colin in the raffle for 2. Thank you, Colin. Cade could be what Dak was and has become, similar skills. Aller had more zip on the ball, but zip stuff in the dirt and overthrew people because his mechanics are trash. Cade, way better. Again, Aller, I don't think ever got good coaching at Penn State. So teams think they could fix him. I do think Cade is a better prospect than Drew Aller. Like, I would have taken Drew Aller then. I mean, I would have taken Kade Klubnik over Drew Aller. But again, I'm not losing sleep over the Klubnik selection. I'll root for him. Seems like a good dude. And we'll go from there. Comments, questions, super chats, cut the line. Here's what we need to do. We need to take a very, and I mean very, short break. And on the other side, we get to your remaining calls. Ladies and gentlemen, sit back and enjoy greatness personified. Hit it.
Decent quarterback. I hate this team. These are the same old Jets. The worst team in professional sports. I hate this team.
Today's not your birthday?
I'm practicing for it.
Your birthday is Monday, though, Lane.
Yeah, but because of the Jews holiday, I can't have anybody over until after the following week.
Okay, so you can have cake today in preparation for your actual birthday.
Yeah.
Lane wants to say hi to you. It's his birthday in 2 days. He's practicing for it.
I'm trying to take care of a very big problem here that I don't deeply appreciate.
I mean, I like Mason.
Anthony Mason?
Yeah, Anthony Mason.
You're getting your ass kicked every fucking week. Damn it! I don't get it, but, you know, I'm not the head coach.
Like a little goat. That's not football! That's not a man! That's a bitch! I'm done.
Remember when you had dead maggots living in your toe?
No, they were alive. They weren't dead. They were alive.
Great. Even better.
One got in there, and then it was nasty. It was bad.
Disgusting.
In fact, I played golf with Rich Kotite at the Jet Golf Classic. In the parking lot, I told him I had some advice for him, and he dismissed me like I was a caddy. And then they went 1-15.
Same shit! Come on now! What the fuck?
You're like Dr. Melfi for like the most damaged people in the world.
You did take a couple of my calls. You know, I tried to call in a couple of times, but
I didn't dismiss you. I probably was on the air and the show was ending. I didn't have time to squeeze
I
you
thought
in.
you were mad at me, honestly. About I was drinking some shit I didn't even mean.
So this is my football right here going in the toilet.
What? No. False. False security, man.
Scatterboo time. Giants
it's not scatterboo time. You just put the ball in the toilet.
Is it going down? Oh. Smell that toilet water?
Oh.
There's some bogus charge on my card, and I don't like the sign of that. Give me someone American I can speak to. Give me someone American I can talk to.
Why are you so upset?
Hello? I don't even know a password. I'm trying something here.
Gator says, was Beast the best choice as your tech support engineer? I still believe in him, Gator. Absolutely.
I tried Raunchy 14. Didn't want to work.
Hogwarts 350 LBs.
Hey, watch it. Got it. Oh, bullshit, man. This
fella. I'm ready for you. You know I want the energy. I want the smoke. I'm cooking all the time. I'm the people's champ. I'm the one that's ready to take down either Gorman or Gary. I got my squad behind me. People's champ.
Ladies and gentlemen, as Maniac Madness returns tomorrow afternoon, the Final Four, our first matchup featuring the big fella and the number 7 seed, Chef Kevin. Then Wednesday afternoon, Gorman and Gary. Friday will be the championship game. It is almost that time for Maniac Madness. All right, let's get back to your calls. Before we do that, though, let's talk about our sponsor, Cheers. This portion of the Jake Asman Show is brought to you by Cheers. If you enjoy a few drinks while watching the game or going out with friends, you know how rough the next morning can be. That's where Cheers comes in. Cheers is a pill you take after drinking that helps your body handle alcohol better so you don't feel as sluggish the next day. It's simple, no powders, no mixing, just an easy supplement you can keep on you for a night out. Here's how it works. After you're done drinking for the night, you take the recommended number of Cheers capsules with water before you go to bed. That's it. It works while you sleep, so you can wake up feeling a lot better than you normally would. I've used it, and you can feel the difference. You wake up clearer, more functional, ready to go instead of dragging through the day. If you want to enjoy your nights out without paying for it the next morning, give Cheers a shot. Go to cheershealth.com. Use my promo code ASMAN for a discount. That's cheershealth.com, and use the promo code ASMAN at checkout. Shout out to Cheers for supporting our program. Again, go to the website, use the code ASMAN, and take advantage. You'll get 20% off with that code. Shout out to Cheers for sponsoring our show. More of your calls. Here we go. We say hello to Panos. Hello, Panos.
What's going on, Jake? How are you?
Panos, you don't call anymore, man. Where you been?
Dude, I'm busy. I'm working during the day. It's so hard. So I figured I'd call. It's my birthday today, so I don't really care what's going on. So
hey, happy birthday, Panos, and love the Knicks hoodie.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it. I just wanted to chime in about the draft, obviously. I'm super happy with the draft. I mean, I think the first 4 picks were incredible. I guess I'll be down on Pons only just for the fact of his height. Outside of that, I think it's a great player. I'm happy we took David Bailey over Arbel Reese. I'm on Frankie V's side when it comes to David Bailey. I wanted the proven guy in the pass rusher. Hot take, I think Arbel Reese is going to be a bust, in my opinion. That's where I'm going with Arbel Reese. I don't think he's going to pan out. Seems like a low IQ player. I don't like Lemon as well either. I'm glad we passed on him. Super happy about Sadiq, right? Like that guy's an absolute animal. I don't see why anyone would complain about that pick. And I think, like you mentioned this, I think it made it a lot better that the fact that we got Cooper on the back end, it kind of just justified that pick a little bit more. And I feel like it made us Jet fans a little bit happier the way things panned out. And then as far as like Klubnik goes, I think you agree as well. Like, who cares if we take the guy in the 4th round, right? Like, if we suck, I'd at least rather have the last 6 games to evaluate Klubnik than watching Geno Smith or Brady Cook or somebody like that, right? So who knows? Who knows? Maybe for once the Jets get a miracle and this guy's actually like amazing or something happens. Like, that's my whole point on taking the quarterback. Like, why not? And I don't really care about using the draft capital. It is what it is. If the Jets felt they needed to get him, they got him. And then my last point is, I personally am more optimistic than I usually am this year. Like, I was very down when we got Fields. I thought it was going to be a 3-win season from the beginning. And I'm excited to actually root for the Jets to have wins and then hope the Colts suck. And that's how we get our top 5 pick. That's like what I want to happen next year. Like the Jets, like 7, 8, 9 wins. And we're rooting for the Colts to lose every week. And that's how we get our quarterback.
Or the Cowboys or the Packers. There's multiple avenues for it. And they can always trade up too. I know ideally you don't have to do that, but like you have the picks just in case. And we don't know what a trade up would necessarily cost. And there's 4 or 5 guys, like typically the guys who go early don't even end up being the best. Like, when was the last time the number 1 pick in the draft won the Super Bowl? Like, people need to understand that they don't need to be the worst team in the league to get their long-term answer at the position.
And I think like the Jets, for them to find their franchise quarterback, we have to be the ones to not make the decision. It's got to like, I'm hoping like it falls on our lap. Like they mess up and pick the 2 wrong guys, and the third guy is the best quarterback in the draft. And
well, it's funny. That happened, right? That happened with Darnold because Baker went 1. The Giants then took Saquon. Darnold fell into their lap. The whole year was sucked for Sam. They were in position to get Sam. They got lucky. Sam was the right pick, as we know, but our head coach was doing lines of cocaine, and our GM, Mike McCagnon and Joe Douglas, never put players around Sam. So that was a problem.
That's what I'm hoping for. And then lastly, you know, like what's great about what I'm seeing what the Jets are doing is that this quarterback is actually going to be set up for success, right? Like I think finally, like if we get this quarterback in, you have a stout O-line, and you know, some people might not be, might be a little upset we didn't address, you know, an interior offensive lineman. Even though I like Cooper late, should be fine, but you can't address all your needs in one offseason, right? Like we have to be a little patient there. So I think the next quarterback will be set up for success. And then I'm wondering what your thoughts on this. Like, do you think like Dante Moore regrets not coming out now after seeing what happens? Like, we probably would have took him at 2, right? Like, I mean, I think he would have been in a good position to be with the Jets. And if you had Geno Smith on top of it, and he could have sat the year. Like,
yeah, but I don't think they bring in Geno if they were drafting more. I don't think he regrets it. I don't think he was ready to be a pro. You know, we dealt with some mental health issues a couple of years ago. He talked about. He said he needed more seasoning. Probably got like $10 million to go back to school for 1 more year. He's betting on himself. Like, I don't think he regrets it.
I know. I think it's just a little bit of a risk financially. Like,
it's a huge risk. Yeah, I mean,
how are you going to go than 2, right? Of course, you could go 1, but like, I don't know. I think it was kind of stupid if you ask me.
But maybe he goes to a better situation and he's a better pro long term. We'll never know. If he ends up getting a second contract, no matter what happens where he goes, it's all worth it. If he doesn't, then he'll regret turning down almost $60 million guaranteed.
Yeah, but I actually think the Jets are a good situation. That's what's funny. I think now after we've done everything, the Jets are a good
maybe roster wise, but I don't know about the coaching staff.
Right,
we'll
not
see.
The coach, not the head coach.
And that's a big thing, right? If your head coach stinks and the OC is attached to the head coach for another year, like, you know, your young quarterback starting to have OC changes every year is not good either. So we'll see.
I know it's such a tricky situation. I personally think they're going to be good.
What's good though? It'll win 9 games, 10 games.
I think they could make the playoffs. And I think it really has to do with the schedule, like you reiterated on the show. Like, we really need to have somewhat of a favorable schedule, the way things fall for us. And you have to beat Salah. Like, if that's week 1, you got to win these games. And I think we mentioned it before. Like,
you better be coming, Panos. So you were in London. Are you coming to week 1 against Salah?
I'll come back. I went to the Jets Pats game last year. That was a disaster. I sat in a suite, so it was okay. It was free, so that's the only reason why.
In New England on Thursday, or the game?
No, the Jets one. My brother's like works at CBS, so like he gets the suites or whatever. So I was at that game, but it was brutal. I mean, I was rooting for them to lose. Honestly, all I've been doing is rooting for this team to lose. I just keep, let's get the draft pick, and then typical Jets when we have the second overall pick. It's like the worst draft to have the second overall pick. It's just so Jets. That's why I'm hoping like maybe there's a miracle with Klubnik or something happens. Maybe the tide has to change eventually. And I feel like Muji at least feels confident and know what he's doing. But then again, we go back to Aaron Glenn. So what I want Woody Johnson, though, to really make sure he does this, like if they do suck or 6 wins is not going to cut it, and the way Aaron Glenn looks and how everything goes throughout the year, you have to fire the guy, right, Jake? Because we're never going to be more attractive than next year with 3 first-round picks to get like a McDermott or a Tomlin to come on board. I just hope they don't make that mistake where they're in the middle and they decide to like go back with him. Like, you have to fire him and get the appropriate coach. I just hope that's what they decide to do.
From your lips to God's ears, Panos. But Panos, I think you're out of your mind expecting playoffs, but I hope you're right.
I know I am out of my mind. I'm usually very pessimistic, but I don't know. This draft kind of got me going. Like, I really love Sadiq Cooper, and I feel like this offense is really nice. I mean, right? Like, Geno Smith is not a bad quarterback, really. Like, he can get us 25 touchdowns, but I don't know what
I want the Super Bowl, baby. Your next call. All right, Glenn holding the Lombardi.
Dude, I would spend whatever money it took to go there if that ever happened. But also, my biggest fear: you spend $10,000, go to the Super Bowl, and they lose. That's also very scary thought process as well.
Yeah. You know what? I'll worry about that if they get there.
Yeah, exactly.
Panos, good call, man. Call it again soon. All right. I know you work during the day, but I love your tweets. I know you're going to be voting for Gary and as Maniac Madness.
I really got
your
50
guy.
accounts made for Gary.
Love it. Good job, man.
Maniac Madness is underway. Make sure you make multiple accounts and vote 50 times for Gary 3D Boxing.
Ados represents a lot of the audience. He watches every show. He's always tweeting me. He just doesn't get a chance to call in a lot. But happy birthday, Panos. Hope you have a great one. Glad the Jets gave you a great draft. All right, let's run through the last remaining calls here. Appreciate everyone who's tuned in. Here is your first look at David Bailey in Jets Green. Go follow at Jake Asman on social media if you want more awesome posts like this one. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bonesy writes in, damn, Jake kept me in the green room for 90 minutes. Now my store is packed. I didn't realize losing to Gary put me in the hole. Bonesy, call in this afternoon. You'll be first up. Just everyone's calling right now. We're at the 2-hour mark. So I'm going to get to a couple remaining calls here. And then if I don't get you on, we will get to you this afternoon. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Kyle Clifton time.
What's up, Jake?
Kyle Clifton, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well, man. So I think we have the 6 remaining best cap space left in the league, even after the draft. I wanted to kind of think about what we might do with that. I would think that there would be 1 or 2 ads there. I think if the draft instructed anything to us, that it's that center is not a priority for management, right?
Kyle, does that include the $14 million if Brees signs the tag? Is that factored in or without it?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
He hasn't signed it, so I don't think it would.
Is that what it is?
Well, I mean, if it's up to date, like Brees has not signed the tag, and
I have to go back and take a look at how Over the Cap presents it. I think that they figure it in, but I'm not positive. But I mean, the draft class usually ends up being about 15, 16 million, right? Thereabouts.
Yep, that sounds right.
And then, so if we don't think it's the offensive line, we think linebacker, right? Would probably be the position where we'd look to add somebody for a little depth.
Yeah, I think so. I think Muji's going to probably use the trade market for some of this again. Like, look what they did with the Briggs and Phillips trades.
Right. And maybe wide receiver, like a little depth, wide receiver 4 or 5.
Definitely should add another receiver.
Okay. That's all I wanted to get out there. I just wanted to get people in the mind frame to move on to the next step to making this team watchable again in September.
Yeah,
I'll talk to you soon.
You nailed it. Those are some of the things to watch. The Brees extension's a big thing. Those are some of the things. Maybe they get an extension done with Joe Tippmann. Be proactive with that. That's what I'd be looking at. Let's see. We are caught up on the super chats. I don't want to play his intro because it might cause a connection problem. But Mikey Midnight, you're next. Hello, Mikey.
Hey, how you doing, Jake?
Mikey.
I'm on my phone.
You look great.
I went to Dartmouth today to talk to the doctor with my dad. He says it's going to be okay. Everything okay, but we didn't know when the procedure is yet. He's going to put priority on it. When is the Jets game we going to?
We don't know just yet, but when the schedule comes out, we will have all that info.
Yeah, and then I told my dad we should go take the train down and go to where the Jet Stadium is. But Bobby could talk to Nick Shrine to write the name down where we could meet them at. That would be cool, right, Jake?
Oh, it's all happening, Mike. I can't wait.
And the Knicks go win the championship this year. The Knicks.
They got to get out of the first round first, Mikey. Big one tomorrow night.
What they going to win? 90-100 to 10.
90-100 to 10. Okay, I'm in. Sign me up.
Yeah, guess what, Jake? I think the Jets did a good job in the draft pick.
Who was your favorite pick?
Oh, I like the big guy. Holy cow. I like the big guy, the tight end. Holy cow, he's pretty big. I like him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think the Jets go be better than anybody else in NFL.
Super Bowl?
Watch out. Yeah. And and Super Bowl. And then the Bailey guys gonna have 18 sacks this year. 18.
Wow. Sign me up for that, Mikey.
Yeah, so here's my prediction. The Jets go be 14-4. Because 18 games. I'll play 18 games.
Are you counting the preseason?
Yeah. 14-4. The show 14-3, 17 games. I'm sorry. I thought it was 18 games.
So 14-3 in the regular season, and then that will get them the 1 seed. So then they'll play a divisional round game, championship, and Super Bowl. So they'll be 17-4 overall this year.
Yeah, we're going to be a home field advantage. That stadium will be rocking, and Geno Smith and my homeboy Aaron Glenn will rock the house. Right?
Ladies and gentlemen, a great prediction from the one, the only, Mikey Midnight.
Let's go!
Let's go. Mikey, I'm in. I'm sold. I'm so happy right now. I feel like dancing.
You guys laugh. It's not funny.
This is regurgitating.
Those are two fairly young men.
You want to see what a real man looks like?
They don't care. They think it's funny that they're sickly and ill.
This ain't no bullshit.
Beast and Gorman look great.
Yeah, they're both physical specimens.
Destructive, but constructive.
That's extraordinary, yeah.
272 pounds, muscle and might.
I'm all thrown off here. I'm all flustered here. Can I get to my jet point?
Yeah, you could try.
Oh, yeah.
If you don't fuck off, I don't know what else will.
It's up to you, New York, New York.
Does anybody want a nutty buddy?
That's. Final four as maniacs roar. The best of the best. Who survives the test? Let's go, Jets!
Yeah. Love it. All right, here we go. Home stretch of calls here. Great call by Mikey. Let's say hello to Ron, who's next on the program today. Hello, Ron. Hey, Ron, you're on mute.
Hello.
There you go.
Hey, Jake. Anyway, one thing about Dante Moore, I noticed someone called before about him, and they're saying that if he came out, he would have been picked by us. He would have been an outlier too, because he would have fit the 15 starts or under, right?
Correct. He only had 20 career starts. I think the Jets would have taken him though, because the regime's desperate and he's a higher graded prospect than Simpson.
Right, but I mean, he was terrible down the stretch. I mean, I don't think he was better than him this year, in my opinion. But so, and here's another question for you: have you ever tried to get the real Kyle Clifton on?
No, I haven't, but maybe we should it now that we're gonna have some downtime these next couple months.
That would be really funny. I'm sure he's a really nice guy. He was my favorite linebacker back then. I bet he would do it. You should have somebody reach out to him, see if he would ever want to get on here, because maybe Wayne Quebec could get a hold of him or something.
Yeah.
One of these guys. But anyway, I was just curious about that. Anyway, I was just the Dante Moore thing. I was just a little, thinking that he would not fit the profile. Not just you thinking that, but everybody says he would be in that group. So would that be worth the risk?
Yeah, look, I feel like they would have taken him because his upside is higher. He does have a little more starts, but I mean, some of the concerns with Moore are the same we had about Simpson. There's no doubt about that.
Right. All right, that was it. I'm heading down my normal drive. I'm heading to Ocean City, New Jersey right now. So
love it. Ron, keep July 11th open for a big event in that area. That's all I'm going to say, all right?
Really? Are you going to be there?
I'm just saying, just keep that event open. There's some big plans for an Asmaniac event in that neck of the woods.
I will be there. That's where my house is. So, all right, Jake. Thanks. Great show. And I'll tell you, was that real? The Bobby's brother? Was that really him?
That's Mikey Midnight. Yeah.
Because I never hear him because I think he's tried before, but there's never sound or anything. It sounds like a mixture of between Bobby and Mr. Miyagi. really funny. I thought it was somebody calling in to pretend they were like him. But all right, anyway, thanks, Ken, for having me on, Jake. Great show.
Ron, appreciate you. Now, that's the real Mikey Midnight. He called in from his phone, and we figured out a way to get him on. He's actually still on hold. Mikey, you got to call in from the phone moving forward, all right?
Yeah, I like that, Chris. I got it. I figured it out by myself.
Love it. This is the key to greatness, Mikey. You're the man.
Happy guy.
Oh, my God. Let's go.
Yeah. All right, here we go. Got time for 2 more calls. Ladies and gentlemen, on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline up next to say who knows. Hey.
Man, Max ain't yapping about jets. That boy, he's jamming. He's slamming. Freaking dancing. Wall smashing. I'm Jake Asman. If Mad Max ain't ever stopped yapping, that boy, he still be dancing. Then call Jake Asman. He got an orange wall.
What's up, Asmaniacs? How you guys doing today? So let's talk about my sports take. So the Yankees, I think they're doing good. The Mets right now, Jake, are a shit show. And then really for the Knicks, game 5, the Knicks got lock in. Jake, do you have the New York song?
Can you hear me?
Because the Knicks are gonna win today.
Can you hear me?
And then the Knicks are gonna win in 6. And then for the Jets, here are my stat predictions. So I think Geno Smith will have 24 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, and then I think the Jets will win maybe 8 games.
Good job.
Because we don't know. Mikey Midnight is so optimistic. We still have Aramis to trust me, bro. So
can you hear me?
We gotta be realistic. What's your thoughts on that, Jake?
8 wins would be a dream, Mad Max.
Let's lower it, honestly. Let's do 6 wins. Would that be realistic?
So you just went from 8 to 6 just like that?
Yeah, sir. Because we have Aramis to trust me, bro. I think our floor is 2 wins and our ceiling's 8 wins.
Hey, what are your thoughts on the allegations coming out about your dad from Le'Veon Bell?
Honestly, Le'Veon Bell is a softie. I mean, Adam Gase was the worst Jets coach, but Le'Veon Bell was also a very soft player.
But he's your father.
He is not.
Can you hear me?
And then I heard about this Ocean City event. Is it a Phillies game, Jake?
It is not a Phillies game.
What's going on in Ocean City, New Jersey?
I didn't say it was in Ocean City. I just said in that neck of the woods.
So like around LBI in that area.
Can you hear me?
Perhaps.
But perhaps let's get Beastbreaker on the line. Let's get Beastbreaker. Is he on the line?
Why are you making demands all the time?
Because I want to see Beast. See if he
Does anybody want to know anybody?
Yeah, that's perfect.
You got anything better to do besides try knocking a 272-pound man down. I don't think you got it, pal.
See if you can see me do triceps.
Get out of here with that. Yeah, you are trying to be Mr. Impressive, but you're not. I'm going to tell you something. You ain't nobody. You understand that? You're dealing with the powerful weapon in sports today. The greatest world champion of all time. Listen, I'm 10 times smarter than you. I can outclass you, outsmart you, and I can
you hear me?
Definitely face slap you like I was your daddy, sonny. Get out of here with that bullshit. Give me another caller. This guy is great. He's white. Come on, I would be making peanut butter sandwiches with milk right now and having to watch this.
Beast, honestly, can you see me do triceps? I have a bigger buys and tries than you.
Get out of here, you boy. You make me ill. Oh, Jesus Christ. Get out of here. You are boy material, kid. You're not even in my department. You're not even in the same league. You couldn't even carry my backs, pal. You're not worthy of my power.
Can you hear me?
I don't see you flying in the air. I don't see you gliding in the air or shooting a basketball or breaking bones. So then, get out of here. Get the hell out of here.
Good job.
Get the hell out of here.
Can you hear me?
I want to see this crap.
Beast, I have 182 pounds of pure muscle, Beast. You have 240 pounds of fat. Look how big my biceps are, Beast.
You're a liar. You're a disgrace. You know what you do? You make Zsa Zsa Devore look way better than Pam Bondi. And I'll tell you something right now, you worthless, blow-down piece of forceless fucking crap. I could smoke you with like a bag of weed. I could probably outschool you in more ways than one, and I could sure make you my bitch.
Honestly, Gary's gonna win today's matchup against Charles Gorman. I'm sponsoring Gary because he's a real fighter and a real man.
Who cares? If you want to kiss his ass, you kiss his ass. As for me, I'm Big Bad Papa Pump. I'm your hooker. And remember, I'm the big bad booty daddy. No, thank you.
Jets. Let's go.
Whatever that was, I hope everyone enjoyed. Ladies and gentlemen, that's our show. I want to thank everyone who tuned in. I'm back in a couple hours with Antoine Staley. 3:45 Eastern is the start time. Then I'm hosting tonight on ESPN New York from 7 to 9 Eastern. So 3 shows for me today. 2 hours here, 2 hours this afternoon, 2 hours tonight. The work never stops. The climate just changes. Maybe it will actually be like spring in New York City because this winter just seemingly never ends. But hey, Jets had a very good draft. Overall grade for me, either a B+ or an A-. In the Mooj, we trust. You guys are awesome. We will talk to you this afternoon. Like the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Join the Patreon if you want all the bonus perks and you want to be added to the intro for the month of May. Let's go, Jets. We'll talk to you soon. A word from Charles Gorman as we wrap things up, and we will see you at 3:45 Eastern. Let's go, Jets.
Hello, everyone. This is hopefully my final take for my campaign video of my Asmaniac Madness tournament against Gary. Once again, I want to thank all of those who were willing to support me. I really appreciate that. With that being said, here's the real reason why you guys should vote for me. I try my best to give you guys good quality entertainment. Even though I know you guys think I'm hilarious, but at the same time, I don't always try to be funny. I try to be honest not only with you guys, but with myself as well. And I really do care about this community. As I said, if it really wasn't for this community, I wouldn't be where I am today, not just as a YouTuber, but as a person as well. I know I really love this community overall. I think there's a lot of good, honest, genuine people in this community. So, yeah, I really do care for you guys. Hopefully, Hopefully, we Jets fans have a good year this upcoming season. I know some of you guys don't think I'm a good Jets fan, but I really am. What I just did a while back was a horrible lapse in judgment, so I really love this team. I really do. I got a lot of Jet merchandise. But let's go Jets, and please vote for me for Asmaniac Madness.
Thank you for watching the Jake Asman Show. We will see you at 3:45.
Are you a happy guy?
Oh my God! Let's go!
Now, have a great day, and we will see you live. 45. We can't hear you. Restart. Go to commercial. I said we will see you at 3:45 Eastern Time. See you later. From all of us to us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for watching the ESPN Classics of the Jake Asman Show. We'll see you soon. Good night.
Oh, hi. Jake wants me to ask you to click on the like button.
That's right, Lane. And if they don't subscribe to the Jake Asman Show, this team may never win another game. Let's go, Jets!